My fiance passed away and now his sister mother wants half my house. What should I do? This is OKOP, where we read the craziest stories on earth. I'm Sam and John, Sophia. What should OP do?
Ask your sister mother.
Yeah.
Also, is a sister mother...
Your sister and your mother?
I think that's part of the mystery.
All right.
That we have to decipher.
Well, let's unfold this mystery. There's only one way to find out. Spill that tea! So, throwaway 99997373 says, my fiance was in a car accident about a week ago. He has a 50-50 chance of surviving, though things have started to look up. His sister is also his birth mother.
Explain.
Wait.
She got pregnant at 13 and his grandparents adopted him. So legally, she is his sister. She has never had any involvement in his life. His adopted parents died 3 years ago.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I'm so sorry.
This is a whole can of worms.
It is.
My fiance and I have 2 children together and own a house. We have been together since we were 13 and are getting married this October. What's with everyone being together since they were 13?
With everyone?
Wait, not for 13 years. They were together since they were 13.
We have been together since we were 13. The same
that's a
age
long-
as
wow.
the sister mother was when they got
Wow.
pregnant.
Wow.
Damn, they were just 13 was the age.
13
Love
was
in
the
the air.
age.
Our house is nearly paid off, and I can't afford to pay half of the house equity to her by myself. I have no idea what to do, or if she even has a stake in the house. He is 23 and does not have a will. Okay, so backing up. So basically, the fiance has a 50-50 chance of dying.
Yes.
Right? The fiance and OP own a house together.
Right.
Which they've been together since they were 13. House is nearly paid off, and basically, if he dies, if the fiance dies, then the equity goes to the sister mother, and she can't buy the sister mother out of the house if he dies.
Wow.
Oh my God. That's stressful.
He also has a life insurance policy that she wants half of. I can't get a lawyer to talk to me without coming in for a $600 consult. I'm hoping someone can give me some kind of direction so I can stop worrying about my children and me becoming homeless and focus on my fiance. This is in Ohio. Thank you. Please pray or send good thoughts my fiance's way. I will update you on his condition as I find out more. And there is some more stuff in the comments and a juicy update. What do you think OP should do?
First of all, sending good thoughts.
Yeah.
Sending
Praying
good
that
thoughts.
all
Yeah.
ends up
I hope
okay and that it's
everything's
the,
okay.
the positive 50% in the
Yes.
outcome.
Yeah, I feel like we as lay people, we don't know the law.
No.
Know the law.
I don't think we know what we're doing. I mean, we can just speculate.
Oh, yeah. All
But you
feelings, no
know
facts.
who does know?
Who?
Brad the divorce lawyer. Perfect syncopation.
Brad the divorce lawyer. He'll settle your divorces.
We never got him on yet.
It's true.
Thank you for calling. Please leave a message at the tone and I'll get back to you.
Bummer.
All right, so I met a lawyer at the gym that I've been trying to call. He's been dodging my calls. He said he wanted to be on the podcast, but maybe he doesn't. If you're a lawyer and want to be the divorce lawyer that we call whenever we have a lawyer question, please comment below.
That's right.
Comment lawyer.
Comment lawyer. Okay, so we do have some comments.
Okay.
Commenter, you are not married? Is he on the birth certificate of the children? Generally, children have precedence over parents for inheritance. So it actually go to the children instead of
That's
sister
good.
mother.
Yeah.
The Ohio interstate rules are if a descendant is survived by a spouse and no surviving children or descendants of deceased children, the entire estate goes to the spouse. So basically, if there's no kids,
Or grandkids.
estate goes to the spouse.
Right.
If a descendant is survived by a spouse and one or more children or their descendants, and if all the children who survive or who have descendants are also the children of the surviving spouse, the entire estate goes to the surviving spouse. So basically, if you have kids, if you don't have kids, it both goes to the spouse.
Oh.
If a descendant is survived by a spouse and one child or the child's descendants, and if the surviving spouse is not the natural or adoptive parent of the child, the spouse receives the first $20,000 from the estate plus 1/2 of the remainder of the estate. The balance of the estate passes to the child, or if the child is deceased, the child's descendant. So basically, if the spouse is not on the birth certificate of the children, then $20,000 goes to the spouse plus half.
Yeah.
And then the other half to the children.
So in no circumstance does it ever go to a sister mother.
I don't think so.
Where is the sister mother law?
So we're going to keep going through the law book. If a descendant is survived by a spouse and more than one child of their descendants, the spouse receives the first $60,000. So basically, our children are 2 and 1. Does this basically mean my children and I can continue to live in our home, or is there some kind of legal process that has to take place for half the equity? I really appreciate your help. As the parent of your children, you also get to manage their assets, half of your house, until they turn 18. So you're going to be okay. Life insurance is all yours if you're the named beneficiary. beneficiary. After your fiance pulls through, you should probably both get wills done so you can be sure in the future. So there is a juicy update.
Oh.
Juicy update.
But it seems like the sister mother's coming after regardless of what the law says. But at least we know now that the law is on OP's side.
Seems like OP will be covered.
Seems like it.
Seems like it.
Seems like it.
But let's get into this juicy update.
Juicy update.
My post got a decent amount of attention. I thought I would update since I still get really sweet messages from people wishing me well / praying for me and my family. My fiance, now husband, did pull through.
Yay! Oh,
He's
my
currently in
God.
our backyard setting up a tent to
Congratulations.
camp out with our 2 and 3-year-old boys. He was in a coma for over a month, and the doctors were pretty sure he would never wake up. His recovery was slow, and he still goes to physical therapy 4 times a week, but he's pretty much back to normal now, and we couldn't be happier. Although it was a horrible thing to go through, it changed both of us for the better. You don't realize how much the small things matter until they're about to be taken away from you. He was appalled by his sister mother's actions when I finally discussed it with him. We recently both made wills and made sure there is no chance sister-in-law or brother-in-law will get any money if both of us were to pass, or God forbid, our children too. We also chose godparents for our children, and we are expecting a baby girl.
Wow.
I really appreciate all the sweet, thoughtful messages I was sent. They definitely made me feel better on bad days to know how many people were praying for him.
That's sweet.
I
That's
love
such
that.
a happy ending.
Yeah.
And there is some stuff from the commenter about the legal stuff. So, commenter says, what did the lawyer you called the next day of your post tell you? How did your husband's sister react when he woke up? Was she a problem for him through his recovery? So, Opie said, I actually used a lawyer that PM'd me on Reddit. So, private message me. He offered his services free of charge.
That
Wow.
is awesome.
The power of Reddit.
Is that like pro bono? Is that what that means?
Yeah. And ironically, he only lived one town over. He was wonderful. He pretty much told me what everyone on the original thread told me. He went over our deed, life insurance, etc. He discovered that there was holes that the sister mom's lawyer could exploit, but wanted to wait to see what would happen with my husband before we really began to worry. She left a few days after I made the original post and did not return to visit even after he had woken up. Did sign a do not resuscitate. There was nothing I could do, but thank God my husband did not need it.
Oh my God.
That's so effed. The sister mother basically wanted the husband to die.
To get
get
his
the money.
That's horrible.
Wow.
Not only was she like actively trying to get it while he's, they weren't sure what was happening with him.
Yeah.
But she,
I mean, it's not necessarily like the worst thing to say, like to get a do not resuscitate. Like I know my mom wants me to pull the plug.
yeah, that's true.
If my mom is ever in a state where she is in a coma, she's like, just pull the plug, please.
No,
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah. Yeah. We've talked about this with our mom.
Yeah, but like it's clear. I mean, it seems clear that that's not what the husband wasn't in a place where
Yeah.
they could
Yeah.
figure
And I'm
that out.
glad
Only
that it worked
23
through.
years old.
23
Yeah.
is not
Insane.
Yeah. That's
So-
a lot to go through.
She did try to have us cover her legal costs. She's still threatening us with small claims court, but that is still ongoing. Still small claims court. Oh my God. Edit. I forgot to add, we really don't hear much from her because she's currently in jail on possession charges.
Oh my.
Oh my God.
She was arrested in May and will get out in December.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That was a big detail
The
that we were
murder
missing.
seems like an absolute piece of work.
Truly.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have a sister or mother like that, and especially not a sister mother like that.
Not your mother.
Not the double whammy.
Double whammy. But man,
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah, that's kind of
That's really
insane.
hard.
Yeah, but I think,
glad it seems
John,
like a
you
happy
got another
ending.
story for us.
I think I do.
I didn't share all the inheritance with my husband, and I don't care. Am I the a-hole?
Well, actually, no, I'm pretty sure that we learned in another story that inheritance goes straight to the person who is inheriting
Right.
it.
Yes.
And not necessarily to both parties.
And it's kind of up to them because it's like, hey, my wish is for my grandson to receive this or whatever.
Not my grandson and
not old
where
ball and
he's
chain over there.
spoken.
Yeah. So, man, it really depends on the context. But if I am blindly guessing,
Blind guess.
I'm going to say OP, not the a-hole.
I'm gonna say the a-hole.
Oh,
I'm gonna say the
We got a
a-hole.
little contest.
We
Let's see what
got a
happens.
little contradiction here. There's only one way to find out, though.
Spill that tea.
So BGNMN.
Just rip through it. BG Meneminem says.
BGNMN 148Z7V0 says, I, 40 female, have been married to my husband, 39 male, for 6 years. Before we got married, I was financially independent, making good money at a job I'd had for 12 years. After we got married, I became financially dependent on him for 2 reasons. One, I got pregnant very soon after a wedding, and we made the decision that I would quit my job then because it involved daily exposure to toxic chemicals.
You don't want the
Ouchie.
baby to experience that.
Nope.
Yeah,
You don't
no.
want a little Hulk baby, a mutant baby.
And 2, we moved closer to family when our son was born to a place where there were no jobs available for my skill set. So I put my career on pause to stay home with our son for a while. Transitioning from financial independence to depending on my husband's income for everything was difficult for me. I worked on rebuilding my career for the past 3 years and am now making some money again, but not as much as I was making before. He earns 3 times more than I do. All our accounts are shared and he manages all the money. We're saving to buy a house, and part of that effort includes limiting our recreational spending, clothes, hobbies, etc. I often go over my monthly personal spending budget, and it stresses both of us out. Him because he sees all of that overage as lost money that could have gone towards a down payment, and me because I'm not used to someone else having a say in how I spend money.
What is she spending it on? I'm
don't
curious.
know, just recreational activities like clothes, hobbies, etc.
I know something else that's recreational. Sports.
Cheating. A secret husband.
Gotcha.
Last year, my dad was killed in a terrible highway accident by an impaired driver.
Oh, jeez.
I'm very sorry, OP. As a result, I am receiving a settlement payment and an insurance payment. The settlement is a larger amount of money than the insurance payment, about twice as much. I told my husband I want to put the settlement money into our savings for a house and the insurance money into a separate account for myself. This surprised him and made him uncomfortable. He gave 2 reasons. 1, we pulled all our resources since getting married. 2, me having a separate account made him worried that I am planning to flee the relationship. He also pointed out that I have habitually overspent my personal spending budget and suggested that I consider paying that money back into our house savings instead of keeping it for myself. Here's the thing. Well, actually, before we go on, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh. Ooh. Okay,
On
red
who?
flag on who?
I think the husband, because
yeah.
I'm guessing, and it sounds like they didn't have separate finance accounts going into the marriage. So now it feels like it. But if they had started off that way, it wouldn't have been a deal or an issue.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree.
But she was fine having joint finances when she didn't have any income.
But she did have an income. She just had less of an income than him.
So she was fine.
She was still contributing.
Well,
she was,
still, she was fine having it feels like she was fine even when if she had less income. She was fine sharing it when she had less. But now that she has more, she's not fine sharing.
Well, it doesn't seem like she has more. She just got insurance money, and I feel like
Well, now she has more money.
Yeah.
I'm with John. I think if it's already been a problem for the husband with like this overspending budget stuff, then this can just be the insurance money can just be for that.
Right. For her,
for
personal,
her,
whatever
for her
she wants
personal
to
stuff,
do.
so it's not a problem.
Yeah. Sam is making a decent argument. So it's like,
Yeah. I don't know. I think you just have to go into a relationship with those separate accounts
Separate
and
accounts.
then one joint account.
I don't think you have to do anything. I think it's your relationship and you can do what you want.
ooh,
That is just what relationship and also business people say.
Is that what they say?
Yes, they say have
Separate accounts?
two separate accounts and then a joint account.
Mom and
I
dad
feel
have
like
one account.
I've heard that advice. I know
Mom
my
and dad
parents
have
do
one
that as
account,
well.
though.
Just one?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's ask mom.
She'll love that. She loves our calls.
Hey, mom. I have a question.
What?
Do you and dad have personal accounts?
What do you mean?
Do you share all of your accounts, or do you have a mom account and a dad account
And then a joint account.
and a joint account, or do you have
No, we have it all together.
all together? Why did you decide on that versus having like separate?
Well, we had separate when we were first together before we got married, before we had you, we had that because we didn't have a house. But once we had a house and all of that stuff, you have to combine it all because and you have kids. You combine it all because you're working together as a team. Doesn't make sense to have this is my account and I'm using money on this. You have to kind of like be on the same page for what you're doing.
If your dad inherited money, it would just go into that joint account, right?
We might keep it separately just so that it's, technically it is, I guess that is dad's, but when you're together, you would look to doing things that benefit the family unit.
Right.
So
Thanks, Mom. You're on
it's kinda
OKOP.
weird. Oh, what? You didn't tell me that. You two are like,
I love
two
you.
are bad.
I love you.
Yeah, no, that's terrible.
Bye, Mom.
That was a really
Bye.
good answer.
That was a great answer.
What?
Okay.
Wow.
So it seems like
I feel like I've heard of the separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was kind of answering.
Does that change your answer at all?
No, I feel like mom kind of agreed, like about the inheritance stuff with OP.
Well, she said that yes, it would technically be dad's, but as a family unit, you should keep it together.
It seems like, she was in favor of all
together.
In one.
I would love to know what the audience thinks.
Yeah.
Put your answers in the comments below. John and I both raise red flags for either party. Maybe both of them are red flags.
Yeah, maybe
just one.
Maybe.
Maybe you think, Sam, you're a dumbass, cotton-headed ninny muggins, and you deserve to die. Let us know in the comments below.
Oh, don't say that, guys. Guys, come on.
Don't do it.
We'll get back to the story, but John, remember when you tortured me by making me export a 24-hour-long video?
Oh, the intern days. Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah.
But but now, but the little piece that I love doing it for the people,
Yeah.
I've decided that we should release a 3-hour-long video every single day for them.
That's so generous of you, Riley.
I know that we do it once a week already on our YouTube channel, so
But it's not enough.
It's definitely not enough.
So you're telling me you're going to stay up all night exporting months worth of 3-hour videos?
Oh, not just me. It's going to be me, Keon, and Dakota. Not Sylvia. But every single night, exporting 3-hour-long videos just for you guys.
Riley respects women. Only men will be exporting these.
That's right.
So if you want to go check them out, go to YouTube, search OK Storytime Compilations for daily 3-hour compilation videos. All right, let's get back to the story.
But here's the thing. The settlement money I plan to put into our house savings amounts to more than 18 times the amount of money I owe from going over my personal spending budget. When I pointed that out, he shifted to talking about other accounts we have that would be healthier if we put the insurance money there instead of into a private account for me. I tried to explain my reasoning to my husband. My dad and I were close, and his death was traumatic for me. This money can't ease the pain of losing him, but it could ease some of the pain I've experienced from losing my financial independence. It would give me a little peace at a time when I feel lost in grief. Lastly, if the tables were turned, I wouldn't question his wishes concerning money that came to him through the death of a loved one. Am I the a-hole? See, I think that...
Does he have his own personal account? It doesn't seem like it, right? It seems like it's all together.
Sounds like it.
He doesn't have
They
a
have
personal...
multiple accounts, but I
But
think
he
they're
doesn't have a
joint.
personal account. It's all
Altogether.
together.
However, I will say, bringing up the point of I think he had said when she got pregnant, like, you should quit your job.
Only because the baby, she was working with toxic chemicals and
Yep.
the baby would be exposed to that.
Yeah, but it's like having to quit your job, like to become a mother is still,
Completely agree.
Yeah.
But how I'm imagining it is they have joint accounts. If they were to ever divorce, she gets half of everything they get that they have, unless they have a prenup, which it doesn't sound based on the relationship dynamic they do.
Doesn't sound like it.
So I feel like that is enough of a safety barrier for her. I don't know. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely still pro, like, in a relationship, people having like their own separate accounts just so they can do things without having
Yeah.
to constantly check
Yeah,
with each other.
it seems like he's always being like, well, you're spending too much, and
yeah. So it's like,
a
I'll just
problem.
take some money
it
for
seems
myself.
like they
and-
agreed on a budget.
That is the only thing, is that they agreed to not do that. So in this case, I'm thinking a little bit everyone's the a-hole because they agreed upon it. So I feel like the wife should be more acknowledging of that.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
The husband, I feel like I don't know that it's really the end of the world that he doesn't get access to this money.
It definitely isn't, but I think what's happening is the contract of the relationship has changed only once the tables have flipped, which I don't think is fair.
Right.
I think I'm on your side, John, because I think, again, she just had a baby and she had her financial freedom taken away from her when she was because before she was making a lot of money.
But she doesn't have her financial freedom taken away from her.
Well, she does.
They're just agreeing on a budget together as a
yes,
unit.
absolutely. I think also, again, I think that you agree on a budget, you have to stick to that. But also
Yeah.
I understand the side of
Not
losing
even the
that
budget,
financial-
it's the whole philosophy of like all of our money is in it together, which that is going against it. So I would say I'm giving a little a-hole to both sides.
Yeah. I would. Yeah.
Why do you think the husband is the a-hole?
I think the husband is the a-hole because I don't know how critical it is that money needs to be there. And I feel like if I was in that position with this whole circumstance, I don't know if I would really care or be bothered per se. I
would probably be bothered if we had a joint, like if we had shared everything and decided like, hey, this is like the relationship style that we have is we share everything. Anything I make is yours. Anything you make is ours, just like all together. And then suddenly she wins the lottery and it's like, actually, this is mine. You know, like that would feel like it would go against the context of the relationship that we started.
Yeah.
So also it's not the lottery, it's from her dad.
Okay, but even
So like
I mean,
specifically it's like parents who just, traumatically was taken from her.
sure.
So it's a little bit more closely, there's a little bit more stake in that.
Yeah. And obviously, like, she can do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
I think the effect, though, of her doing this is she's undermining the context that they originally set out with the relationship. It's not a bad thing to do if they already had separate finances. That's fine. I think what's happening, though, is she's now setting a different precedent.
Yeah.
I think they just need to have a more longer conversation. I think they need to talk it out.
Yes.
I would love to know from y'all what you think, like, who's the a-hole in the situation?
Is there one?
Is there one? Are they both? And also for anyone who's married, like, how do you split finances? Or do you split finances?
What works for you guys?
Or is it all together? Like, what works for you? Would love to know how different relationships handle this kind of stuff.
And also, I'm really sorry for your loss, OP.
Yeah.
That's true. Mother steals my inheritance to bail my brother out of jail.
I think that needs to happen.
How bad do you hate your brother?
How much would you sell your brother out for?
Ooh, see, now this is what I'm talking about.
For free?
For free.
Wow. See,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why
Yeah,
you should
yeah.
do it. Like,
It all
you don't
depends
care
on the
about your brother.
relationship.
Yeah. Speaking of brothers, jails, and finance, we have pay pigs on the episode today.
Our brothers
ladies
in
and gentlemen.
podcasting.
Truly our brothers in podcasting.
Yeah.
Welcome to the table.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, let's do it. I'm set to inherit a good portion of land, as is my entitled brother. The two properties are approximately the same size and have the same valuation. Entitled mother decided that it would be beneficial for everyone to go ahead and give us the properties so we could buy a home or whatever in order to get around the inheritance taxes and probate when she eventually passes.
Fucking what a headache. I don't know. Being rich sounds like such a headache sometimes. They're like, I'm giving you this property. You have to sell it so then you can get your own house. It's like, Jesus.
I know, dude.
You gotta play the
I
game.
think no taxes for the rich, honestly. Like, they have
Yeah.
enough
Yeah,
to deal
come
with.
on.
You have to
Super
manage all these
popular
properties.
opinion, I
Yeah, I
heard.
know. I think that's what we should do.
More popular than Nancy Pelosi's breath.
Nancy
Nancy
Pelosi.
Pelosi?
Is she dead? She's dead, right?
No, Dianne
that's
Feinstein.
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 Okay.
I called her office once, but that's a story
Nancy
for
Pelosi or
another day.
Feinstein?
What'd you say?
Dianne Feinstein.
You're fine
I
as
had
hell.
some stupid idea of like, I'm going to build an app and change the world. And
Are you a programmer? It's okay. I
He
don't
had
want
a,
to
he had a
Yeah.
phase in Silicon Valley. It's a
Whole
long
phase, whole
backstory. It
phase.
was on like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
ABC show.
Another thing that's really important to me is the clothing industry.
I don't know if entrepreneurship is the right thing for you.
Oh, sick.
I decided to list mine with a real estate agent in September of last year, talking about, I guess, his portion of the property. Trusting my mother to do the right thing, I didn't ask her to go ahead and deed everything over to me. I asked her to sign the paperwork and I was going to handle everything else. So here is what happened.
Okay, so
What a
he's
dipshit.
his mom still owns it, but is expecting that if it sells, she'll give him the money.
I believe so.
But nothing is in writing.
Yeah.
yes.
Great.
He's completely trusting his own mom like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
My entitled brother, there you go again, lives in jail. Not literally.
Lives in
He
jail.
lives in jail.
He just loves it there so much he wouldn't leave.
Never want to go.
Okay, not literally, but he's there enough that all the detention officers know him well. Is he just coming by like, what's up?
Maybe
boys?
he's
How
like
you doing?
arrested for
Dapping
petty
him up,
crime
like-
all the
He
time.
sounds like one of those guys in a small town who always gets put in the drunk tank.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then this
Oh,
guy
Bob,
sounds like
here
a
goes
narc.
again. Yeah.
His brother sounds fun as hell, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't leave the house without being charged with a felony, all of which are valid charges. He's an unrepentant asshole and does not care about anything else. There is a long list of all the truly screwed up things that he's done, none of which I feel like rehashing, but rest assured that all the charges are born of a fatal combination of arrogance and stupidity.
Nice.
Wow.
Sounds like he really loves his brother.
I don't like this guy. He's like, oh, it's a long laundry list of things he's done. I don't
won't
want to
get
get
into
into it. But okay,
Yeah, just say
get
he's
it?
got a long rap sheet.
No,
Period.
but tell me what it is. I'm not going to just believe you.
Sure.
Laying down the law over here. Entitled mother continues to enable him. To her, my children are just the same in my eyes. Well, after we listed the property, he got in trouble again for what feels like the 457th time. What does she do? Because sweet baby boy can't possibly spend more time in jail, she signs a bond with the county because what bail bondsman would touch him? None. That's how many. Using all of her properties, including what's supposed to go to me and her own personal home.
No,
The
sorry, go ahead.
collateral for the bail. That doesn't
Yes.
mean that he's losing it.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
it sounds like this
Still.
guy's going away. Anyway.
Also, your mom can decide whatever she wants because it is still her property.
Right.
She ain't dead yet, pal.
Well, she
if your
could be.
mom has $100,000 and is like, I'm going to give this to you as your inheritance, and you know what? I'm going to give it to you before I die. And then decides, you know what? I'm going to buy a Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
What is he going to be like? My entitled mom wants a Porsche with my money. That is still her money.
Right.
That is still her house.
Very accurate.
Have you ever heard of counting your eggs before they're hatched?
Truly.
My good bitch.
Dude. She never told me any of this.
Yeah, because you don't deserve to
Yes,
know.
none of your
bitch.
business.
So here I go, bebopping into what looks like a good future, never knowing that I'm engaging in criminal activity.
Oops.
Thinking that I'm going to buy my own home.
Oops.
No, I thought I didn't like him, and then he said bebopping, and now I really don't like him.
Hate his guts. The land sold. We are under contract with the buyer now. My family is working on what we assume to be our new house. She even helped clean it out, all while knowing all of this. Closing time comes. The lawyer runs a title check one more time. One final itsy-weetsy time. And what does he find? The bond.
Oh, no.
Exposed.
Okay.
Exposed.
So then what happened?
They're screwed.
So the buyer probably wants to unwind the sale.
So we have an update right after this. Question and a prediction. Question, what do you think OP should do right now, given that his house he was just about to sell? And then what do you think is going to happen?
OP should cry and, I don't know, kill everybody involved.
Yeah.
Just kill them all.
So the lawyer finds out and tells me. Cue multiple frantic phone calls between me, the lawyer, my real estate agent, and my mother. Turns out she signed the bond in December after the property was listed in good faith.
So that means
at least by
property
me
has...
committing fraud.
So the mom's in trouble.
I've been told outright, orally executed lies. Lies in which she always gets caught. She told me that she didn't realize that mine was included in the bond, meaning my property. Then she says that she didn't realize that the land would sell so fast, so she had until August, his newest court date, to have it figured out.
So she was running on some dicey ground.
Yes.
In her defense, it is a bad time to buy.
Yeah, interest rate's crazy right now. She always trips herself up. She tells me a convoluted, complicated lie about contacting her lawyer and a bail bondsman and how it will all work out just fine and in time for the closing. She says he's going to surrender himself.
Her brother.
brother.
The
Yeah.
brother.
The fun brother.
I think so.
Oh, God.
It's gotta be.
Did he skip out on bail?
Fucking hope so.
He might have skipped out on
This guy's
bail.
down in
So
Mexico.
he's
yes.
he is like so
I
he
love this
wasn't
guy.
going to surrender himself. That sounds like he wasn't going to
Yeah,
surrender
so
himself.
now the house is...
So now she's like, no, don't worry. He'll surrender
The
himself.
bondsman-
Only because I put up the bail. She says a lot of things, all lies. I can't trust her as far as I can throw her. I know this
Don't
now.
throw your mom.
Yeah, that's even if she does this to you.
Disclaimer, don't throw your mom.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Actually...
So here we are. The land is still under contract. The buyers are having some trouble with their mortgage, thank God. My brother is still free, and she is going to lose her house. All because of this total piece of garbage who couldn't care less about any of this. All he cares about is getting high.
Drugs.
Yeah. I will say he did a really poor job of explaining. Like, put this, like, and be like, oh shit, these are bad. But he was just like, he's like in and out of jail.
I'll
It's like,
just
what does that
say,
mean to you?
He's been in jail a lot of times.
Yeah, it's like, what are you
I
talking
won't get
about?
into the details, the hurdy-gurdy details, but gee willy, my brother sure is trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday, I told her some casual Google-related research that I've done. She knew that the buyers could sue her for breach of contract, but she didn't realize that felony criminal charges could be filed against her for fraud, given the value of the property. Now she's scared and is actually doing something when it's her own hide on the line. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. It's the not knowing that is killing me.
Is this person asking on this thread for advice, or is this just a vent?
I think it's a
both.
vent.
It's both.
I think it's a little bit of both. I waited to do another update until I had something really good, and whoo boy, do I have a good one. Friday evening, I realized that I hadn't heard from entitled mother since Thursday morning, so I tried to give her a call. Given her age and medical problems, I try to check on her as much as I can, but Friday she never answered or called me back. I called her all day Saturday. She didn't answer or call back. I dropped by her house. Nobody was home, but the door was unlocked. I thought that she had just stepped out to go to the store, so I left her a note and took the kid to the movies, and here is where it gets interesting. I had a message waiting from one person that I didn't even know existed, much less interact with. The message basically said, your mom and brother are in a jail in a faraway county.
Shit.
Her bond is 75 grand, and his bond, $1 million.
Yes.
I flipped out. No way do I have the 10% required for a bondsman for her. He can rot in there as far as I'm concerned. But an elderly woman with huge medical problems
I thought you were just going to say huge boobs.
But my mom with those huge knockers.
But an elderly woman with huge boobs?
who has never spent time in jail doesn't need to be there. She never called me herself. I want to emphasize, it took a random stranger to tell me. So basically it sounds like OP is saying his mom was ready to just go down and just like thug it out herself. And so he's now finding out from a third party. He's like, all right, I'm gonna.
Why don't you think she called?
Also, I really
Her
appreciate
huge boobs got in the way of her pressing the phone.
So I spent Saturday calling the jail to make sure that she had her meds. I was feeding her dogs and locking down her house to make sure that none of Entitled Brother's friends came around to not rob her blind. When I went to do the lockdown, there was a man there. A man with a really bad mouth.
What?
He must have been a potty mouth, this guy.
A man with a really bad
Yeah.
mouth?
Saying very
Hey,
mean
he probably
words to
said,
me.
hey, motherfucker, this and that, you know?
Or maybe he's just like slightly disfigured.
Yeah, a guy with a real ugly mouth, if I do say so myself.
A man who had been living in her basement. Very
What is going on?
She might have been subletting or renting out of the basement.
She's very naive, and with anyone else besides those in her family, especially those she deems unfortunate, she, quote unquote, helps. This guy started promising that he would help her out and watch the place to make sure nobody came around. I wanted to believe him because holy cow, does she have a lot of animals, and Lord knows I can't just sit
Jesus.
there to make sure that her property is
How
safe.
many animals are we talking about?
I'm going to need specifics on that.
Yeah.
But as my wonderful husband pointed out,
Oh, this is a woman.
Jeez, man.
hey, we don't know that.
Is that-
We don't know that. Stop assuming
Oh, right.
genders. Stop assuming. Usually we get age and gender, but this is a very rare story where we don't get that.
Yeah,
up
okay.
front. So we're not sure of OP's gender.
Okay, it could be a gay gentleman, could be a woman.
Indeed.
Yes.
But as wonderful husband pointed out, anyone who has anything to do with Entitled Brother is probably no good. Yesterday afternoon, my husband and I go to her house and we caught 3 friends scaling her fence, intending to go up her very long, very steep driveway on foot because her gate was closed and locked. We ran them off. It wasn't pretty, but I've lost every ounce of patience with these people. We do what needs to be done.
It sounds like they live on the frontier.
Yeah.
Like-
and they're like fending away
Like-
all these bandits that are trying to rob them blind.
They've got a little bit of wealth and everyone's just trying to get in there
Is this Batman's real origin story where he's like, I gotta become a thug badass,
Did
beating
you hear
the
the
shit out
old
of
lady
criminals.
got arrested? We can break in and
His parents are still alive. He's just breaking them out of the clink.
It sounds like somewhere in the Midwest or the Ozarks or just the
Ozarks.
these are desert people.
we ran them off, but it was tough work.
Yeah, I had to do it. I
Use
knew what
every
needs to be done.
pitchfork and shotgun in the house.
Right. Upon getting home, I called the sheriff's office non-emergency line to explain the situation to them and ask that they step up patrols on her street. I should have called 911 when I saw those people, but I didn't, hindsight and all. They were already aware of the situation as they're familiar with Entitled Brother and his ways and agreed to drive by a couple more times. I also described the people and their vehicle just in case. After about 2 hours later, I received a text. They've just arrested 5 people at your mom's house.
What is going does this,
5
Dude,
people?
Hey, yo!
Where do they live? I mean,
Everyone's trying to get a piece of that mom.
Yeah,
He's got-
and you're responsible for the bail, OP.
also, is the brother like sending word to people like,
Yeah, he hit the group chat.
go
He hit
Yeah,
the big,
yeah.
like the 30-person
go
group
get the
chat. Now they're just
China, go
splintering
get the
off.
fucking
Yeah.
okay.
It's a very small town and everybody knows everybody else's business. So it didn't take long for that information to reach me. That's as much as I know for now. I'm sure there's more mess that will happen today, so I will post again after work. And there is
And we're
another
getting
update.
more mess.
I have to say they might be doing this person a favor. I would not want to own property in this town. It sounds like you need to constantly be patrolling your
A
fucking
30-person
property.
security
Yeah,
team
I
is
mean,
constantly on patrol.
If you leave for more than a day, you got 5 guys scaling your walls.
4 watchtowers on every corner of the
Right.
property.
And if your
Just-
mom's got boobs that are bigger than normal, you
Dude.
gotta like protect her.
Honor.
You got some guy she keeps in the basement.
Yeah.
yeah. I am struggling with the decision I have to make. Do I get her out or do I leave her there to teach her a lesson?
Wow. What
don't
a
like that.
struggle.
She's
I
not
don't
gonna
like that.
learn at this
She's
point.
too old.
Yeah.
She says old dog knows
Teaching old
tricks.
dog new tricks. On one hand, there's the fact that she's elderly, has medical problems, and has never spent a night in jail before now. She's been to jail for him before, but never overnight. On the other hand, she's really, really messed up for a truly messed up reason that was of her own making. This was of her own making, and she would do it again if she could. My aunt, uncles, all of whom are awesome, are also sick of her shit.
So everyone's like, leave her in prison?
Yeah, but these people are they probably want her in there so that they can break in the house and take all
and
this
steal.
shit.
I think I should leave her so she'll learn the lesson, but I'm feeling some guilt. I've raised the money by selling some stock that I had and raiding our savings, but I don't know if I should do it. Nobody else would give us anything given her track record with him. For all I know, this experience will make her feel even more sorry for him since she knows firsthand how much a 22-hour lockdown sucks now. For all I know, again, she's going to go to one of Entitled Brothers' friends and make some sort of horrible deal to get the money. She chauffeured him to a good deal of his purchases and knows where all of them live. I realize that scenario is bordering on paranoid, but y'all don't realize the lengths that she has gone to in the past, and I would not put it past her. Think of the most ridiculous situation you can possibly imagine, and that is totally what she would do. So, what should I do? Bond her or leave her in jail?
I get it. So you bond her under a stipulation. You tell her, like, if I put up this money, you have to be a good mom. You got to be good. And also, to the end that this person is saying, she's in jail and that's going to make her feel even more sorry for her son. Because, I've seen what it's like now in jail. Oh, it's so awful. No, I think to the contrary. I'd be like, if I were the mom and I'm in jail for 22 hours and I'm thinking, this is fucking awful. Holy shit. I would want to avoid this at all costs for the rest of my life. If my son doesn't have that mechanism, he's probably broken. And so I'm an idiot. I'm a sucker for having put up with this behavior for so long. I think
is 22 hours enough? You know, like. I
mean, she's an old lady.
Yeah, she's an old lady.
She thinks that she's going to. So she has this like sense of hopelessness, I guess, and then you come in and you save the day.
22 hours in old lady years.
I agree with Ben, but you also have to stipulate to the mom.
You have to set the boundary.
We're cutting off brother because he's.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just not going to learn.
Ooh, I put up the bond money. You give me everything.
I manage the wealth. Well, that actually
I manage the wealth.
I manage the wealth. That actually might be what is best.
All of that extra money and shit was superfluous. It was extra. It was cream on top.
Yes.
Like, don't act like you're entitled. You want to talk entitled.
Right.
Yes. I think OP was entitled.
I think everybody's entitled.
Like, should I leave my mom in jail to teach her a lesson? That's crazy.
To teach her a lesson about not fucking up my inheritance?
Yeah, the one who was going to give you a bunch of money?
Christ on the cross.
Oh my God.
This mom does need to be put in check. Like,
Yeah. A little check.
She's going to ruin her own finances and everything, but goddamn, that's too cruel. There's a way to get this all in order without.
There is. I like the bond.
Stern talking to.
Yeah.
Also,
bondage.
I'm sure we've all heard stories about American prisons. It's not nice.
It's not pretty.
Not fun.
There's a difference between jail and prison.
That's true, but who knows about this small town? I wouldn't leave my mom in jail. That's
me too.
it for me.
Me either. Unless she did something really bad, then I'd be like, Mom, I don't know, man.
Got to learn a lesson.
What would your mom?
You stole a
what's
bus.
the line? What's the line?
What would your mom have to? If your mom stole a bus?
Yeah, if she stole a bus,
Stole
I'd
a
be
bus?
like, Mom, what's going on?
Bro, I would give my mom money for stealing a
Yeah,
bus.
if my mom stole a bus, I'd
That's
be
kind
like,
of sick.
Yeah.
It
I think
is,
if my
but
mom
it's also
killed someone, then I would be like, come on. What would you guys do? Let us know. Put it in the comments. All right, let's get into this next story.
Let's do it.
I inherited $200,000, and I'm not going to tell my husband for a good reason. My partner, 31 male, and I,
Oh, thank
25
God.
female.
This is so nice.
Yeah, look, we got the genders, we got
31
the
male,
ages. 25 female are having our second child, and he hasn't been working due to an in-work injury. So for the last 2 going on 3 months, it's been very stressful for us. My paternal aunt gave me half of what she got from selling my grandma's house, her mother, and she inherited it last year due to my grandmother passing away, and she spent 6 months getting my moochers of a father and brother out of the house and fixing it up. We haven't spoken since the funeral, and last week she called to meet for lunch, and when I went, she handed me a check worth over $200,000.
Dude, that's so sick.
That's the aunt.
That's the aunt.
You go to lunch, just get banked up. Come on,
Bam.
Dude.
Would have been even
From your
sicker
aunt.
in a briefcase.
Yeah,
just
come
like,
on.
I'd
Take
be
that out
ordering
in
the
cash.
salmon for sure at that restaurant.
Are you
I'd be
guys
like,
that close to your aunts? Like,
Nah,
I'm pretty close with my aunt.
my aunts hate my.
I didn't understand, but she said my grandma thought of me as a daughter, and I was the only one other than her that took care of her and my grandpa. And while they didn't have the money to give me, she sold the house, and after talking to her husband, decided I deserved half of it. So
Dude, fuck
That's
yes.
really sweet.
Yes.
What a great
I
aunt.
love this.
Aunt.
aunt. My hormones were everywhere.
Oh yeah, she's pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And she had to
I
help
forgot that
me.
too.
Does that
How's
happen?
this, Rilla?
This is money. My hormones going crazy.
80% female audience.
Yeah.
Where are your hormones?
Yeah.
I got nervous that if I ever came into money, my hormones were going to freak out.
It's 11 p.m. Do you know where your hormones are?
My hormones were everywhere, and she had to help me calm down because we were in so much debt, and I felt so thankful. So this is changing Opie's life.
This is just a feel-good story. I really like
Oh.
it.
No, it's
Oh,
gonna
you
feel
think-
bad. You're gonna
oh,
feel
no.
really
I'm
bad
curious
soon.
why
Enjoy
she's
it.
not telling the
Her
husband.
baby
that.
has a problem.
Addicted to meth. She told me she wasn't giving anything to anyone else and would prefer for me not to tell anyone. $200K. I put it in my account, and once it cleared, I began slowly paying off my husband and my debt. I paid people back that had loaned us money, cleared our credit cards, paid our car off, put $10K in our daughter's saving account, and plan to make one for our second child when it's born.
This is huge.
This is huge. I didn't tell my husband because we have separate finances and have since we got together.
Well, then how do they have shared debt? What is she talking about? Well, I guess
Maybe a shared credit card that
Yeah,
they use
maybe.
together. But mostly separate finances. So I guess she can set up like all
Separate
these
banks,
accounts. Yeah,
but
separate
loans
banks.
together, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
Oh,
that
maybe
makes
a
sense.
mortgage.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
credit
both
cards.
in their name. But he's gonna find out, right? Like there's no way she's paying all of this stuff off.
Also,
Especially
you
the debt
wouldn't
together.
you wouldn't want your partner to be visibly suffering and just. If you've ever been in debt, it feels terrible, or
Yeah,
like
like
it
falling
feels
down the
like
stairs.
every day you've got this weight on your
Yeah,
shoulders.
but
It feels like you're slipping down your
she's
stairs.
easing the burden.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that the burden is easing. As far as I know, does he know?
He
I don't
doesn't
know.
know, and he shouldn't know based on what the aunt said
Yeah.
that the stipulations were.
Mm.
He doesn't even know what our debts were or how far behind we were. So I didn't think he would notice, but he watches his credit. And when he says that it went up and that I had received a letter from my community college that my debt was paid, he asked me. I told him my aunt gave me money, but not how much. And he tried accessing my bank account when he couldn't get in. He took my debit card without me knowing and went to an ATM and then saw the balance.
That's, yeah, what do we think about that,
So
boys?
he knows the aunt gave him money. She wouldn't tell him.
Yep.
The amount.
He took her cards.
Took her card.
After trying to get in, like log into
Log
her
into the bank account
and
and
not being
swipe
able
one
to
of
do
the
that.
cards. That's a red flag. He yelled at me for hiding it. I told him it doesn't matter because we were no longer in debt and we could finish our degrees. And then he walked out and hasn't spoken to me in 3 days. I requested a new debit card and changed my information regarding my account because now I don't trust him not to try and buy something, and the marriage is eroding right before our eyes.
Yeah, this is when you get into like poisoning the well situation.
Yeah,
where, like, how
don't
you-
do that.
How
You
do you
gotta
come back from this shit?
Talk to him. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I admit I should have told him, but it's not like he knows how much money I make from my job. So there's a lot of questions and comments. I need to answer some of them. So 1, he doesn't like my family at all.
Oh God.
Another fucking red flag.
Yeah.
I met him when I was a kid because he was my
Oh.
older brother's best friend.
No.
You're out.
Things changed when we got together when I was 19
Hey.
and they don't speak anymore. He avoids anything to do with my family.
How
so
old was
basic-
she when he? How was he? Was 20.
That's the question. 31
so
and
he's
25?
6 years older.
25.
So they've been kind
He's
of like
25, yeah.
Ew, but he also like knew her when bit of a grooming situation.
Yeah.
a
little groomy.
A little groomy.
No wedding.
A little groomy.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Do you think this is groomy? Put your answers in the comments. 2, most of our relationship is great. We agreed to have one kid because I dreamed of being a mom. But during the pregnancy, he treated me like crap.
No.
And even after our daughter was born, he continuously made me feel like a bad mom for asking him for help when I was exhausted and he just wanted to play games or drink.
Play games.
Play games.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to go with that chant now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Divorce.
Divorce. He only started helping and being supportive after being separated for a few months and us getting counseling. He and my daughter both have my last name. I wanted joint finances when we got married and he didn't. I was only in debt of $5K from my college at the time and he had some, but he told me he had it covered, which I found out he in fact did not. 5, what I meant about him not knowing how much in debt we were is that he'd open credit cards in both our name
Holy shit.
and max them out. And then when we couldn't use them anymore, he'd apply for more. I did not know this until hiring a firm to help get my credit up. They told me I could press charges or pay them off. I wanted to pay it off because he's my husband.
Dude.
And even if he put us in debt, I do love him. It gets worse.
Yeah.
It gets
No.
worse.
Yeah, it's not
6.
uphill from here.
We didn't want more children. He got into a fight with his sister and she did something she shouldn't have, but he also refused to get snipped. Yeah, we didn't find out I was pregnant until it was too late for another option.
Oh, so pregnant with child number 2.
Pregnant. So they didn't want.
It's
number 2.
accidental.
Yeah, accidental.
They hate this kid. They hate this baby.
7, we moved in with my mom to help us get things back on track, and he got hurt at work. Yes, I believe he is depressed, but he's also blown all the money he had saved on video games, liquor, and pot. He didn't spend a dime on any of the debt he caused or for our daughter. He makes more than I do, but with the way he spends it, it's like we live on one income.
Ooh, babu. This guy needs to be beaten up.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, we
got 4 podcast hosts right here. Knuckle sandwich.
Yeah.
We're all pretty brolic here. I think we can take them.
I could just yell at him. That's about right.
These
You could direct us.
are so difficult because like it's so clear. It's like you need to fucking leave. I don't understand. Like, what is the advice? You need to get the fuck
The
out
thing
of
is,
here.
with a lot of these stories, it's kind of just like once they put it all on paper and they get like a few gut checks, they're out of the reality distortion field. Because then they're probably like, as she's writing this, she's probably realizing like, oh fuck, this is bad.
sure.
She might not have told anyone ever.
Anything.
That's the thing.
Yeah. This is like, you can be honest on the internet, which is kind of like, I do in almost every way I can, except for money. And he's proven that again and again. I also have been giving him small portions of the money so he can still go and do things he wants to do. It's not like I'm just hoarding it away from him. I just didn't tell him that it wasn't from my paychecks like he assumed. 9, he has the pins to my debit card because while I didn't tell him about the money, I do let him use it when he needs to. And we're going to go into the comments and a juicy update. But I want to hear from you guys. Like, what do you think so far? Are we in divorce territory?
I'm so stressed out. I want her to leave. I want
her to leave.
She sounds so sweet.
Yeah, she does sound really sweet. She
And
cares
just
about her
like
kids.
but also, I don't know. She needs to it scares me that she got married when she was 19 and like maybe she doesn't have a big support group of people.
I think they got
outside of that.
together when.
Yeah, I don't think they got married.
I don't think she got. I think.
married at
I think
21.
like this, like when with the dude when she like turned 19, he's like, all right, now it's time.
Okay, but either way, like I think, she needs friends being like, "Oh, this is not right,"
Or internet strangers, or this podcast right here.
Yes.
I don't know if this is it, honey.
The fact that she's saying stuff like, "I still trust him," it's like he continuously took out credit cards in your name and was just running them up, and then would be like, "Oh, sorry, just gonna keep doing it." And she's like, "I trust him in every way except financially."
Yeah. We all want what's best for you here.
Yeah,
This is a safe space, and this guy's a dick, and you need to leave.
He sucks.
He sucks, and you are better than that.
And you're really hot. OP, you're so good looking.
All right,
you wear that baby bump so well. You're glowing, sweetie. You're glowing.
You sound like you want $200,000.
Oh, no.
You sound like you want to split finances and be equitable.
Me? No. Couldn't be me.
No.
But if you're out there and you're watching, leave him.
For me.
Don't come to me. I don't care. I'm fine. I'm taken. I don't know what I'm doing with this bit. I hit my head.
In the comments, I've tried multiple different birth controls and the side effects make it difficult. However, my doctor and I have decided to tie my tubes because I've had multiple miscarriages and high-risk pregnancies. I didn't plan to have any more kids, but his sister poked... Oh!
Wait, what?
Who is this?
This is the OP.
This is OP, but it's in the comments. It's a reply to the comments.
Got it.
Oh my God, guys.
But my sister, what?
His sister.
But his sister poked holes in our condoms, and by the time we found out I was pregnant, we couldn't get an abortion in our state. So due to it being past 6 weeks.
What is going on?
What?
This whole family. She needs to get away.
Oh my!
Why does the sister have access to the condoms? A. What does the sister have to gain?
Maybe she's as sick, twisted, and
what the
crazy
fuck?
as the guy.
This sounds like a terrible family to be a part of.
Yeah,
you don't say.
So someone else asked in the comments if they are still in contact with the sister-in-law. And they said, no, we cut contact when we discovered I was pregnant. We told his family and she just laughed and threw it in our faces that she had the upper hand. We haven't spoke to her since we found out 6 months ago.
Okay, so the brother was pissed as well.
The brother was pissed
or
as
the
well.
husband
The husband was,
pissed as
the husband
well.
was pissed as well.
Whoa, what the?
But what?
I've got the upper hand.
I mean,
you're pregnant. Okay, what fucking upper hand?
Maybe she wants to adopt the kid. Maybe she can't have kids herself, and she's
what
like,
did you get from me?
another
they haven't
kid.
spoken to her in 7 months. Shit.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not sure if this is how you update, but I figured I would go ahead and try. Over the last 3 days, I've spoken to my mom and my in-laws. My husband reached out to her that he didn't want to be with me anymore.
The husband doesn't want to be with her anymore.
The husband doesn't want to be with her anymore.
Good riddance.
Before you're
I
done.
mean, what the
But it wasn't because of the money. It was because he felt forced to get married and have a baby, even though we got pregnant with the second one because of his sister, and he still blames me.
Cool.
This guy is such a sack of shit.
So what? Good riddance.
He
bad
blames
rubbish.
her when his fucking sister...
So what? You're bigger than that. You're better than that, sister. Get out of there.
6 years together and felt like he refused to even talk about it. So he's not even talking to her anymore. Even when we were in counseling, I asked his mom what he wanted to do because he wasn't answering my phone calls or messages. And she said she sent him money for a plane ticket so he could go to her. Going right back to mommy. I am heartbroken that she didn't tell him or try harder for the kids. After all, his dad left him and his siblings. But I can't force him to stay, and I have to think about them right now. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I spoke to a lawyer my friend used for his divorce yesterday, and he's going to help me draw up a divorce plan. He said my husband can go after the money, but he doesn't think he will. I'm filing for full custody and will be asking for a minimum in child support unless he wants to sign his rights over. I'm done being stupid and thinking he would grow up. I packed his things and hired a moving company to take them to his mom's house so all of his stuff will be gone in a few days. My first clue he didn't want our daughter was that she was not even crying asking where he is. She's just running around with me and my mom. I did send him a little bit of money for his travels and told his mom I'll send the divorce paper as soon as I get them.
What the fuck?
Because she's an angel.
Truly an angel. This woman
She's great.
is
She is the sweetest person ever.
Oh my God.
She told me okay and hung up. So that's what's been happening the last few days. Haven't spoken to my soon-to-be ex-husband, and I am now fully on my own the first time since I was 19. I'm hoping everything goes good. Hopefully I don't have to update again.
Damn. 2 kids, husband's
And that's
gone.
the end.
And that's the end.
That's the end.
But no debt. I thought you were taking that out to wipe away a tear.
No,
What the hell was that?
I was trying to clean. My teeth feel gross, and I was like, oh, I should just like give him a
Just
quick
do it.
wipe
Just
I've done that
on
before.
camera.
Yeah. Editor, zoom in on that. Yeah. Really zoom in on his little toothpick.
God, this one's a bummer.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but it has a happy ending.
I think
Does it?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
so
she's
this-
divorced with
she
2
doesn't
kids.
want it. She doesn't want him anymore.
The silver
She's better
lining
off.
is it like exposed everything, right?
Yeah.
Because it
Sure.
seems like before she was almost completely oblivious and just
Yeah.
letting him get away with the most heinous BS
right.
of all time. So the not only did the money come in and like obviously give her financial stability, but also it just happened to like set off this like nuclear chain reactor that exposed the husband.
Because he was a dick beforehand.
Oh yeah.
Like he was a massive
The whole
asshole.
time.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
time. So now like maybe she's can find a better relationship.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be fine.
She's gonna
My
be fine.
mom met
She's
my
awesome.
dad. She was twice divorced, had 2 kids, and she was like 33
Your mom was twice divorced?
and had 2 kids when
From
she
each
was-
marriage, or
2 different marriages.
Whoa.
So you're telling me your mom was married twice, and this man right here has not been married one single time.
This is
I know, it's
insane.
pathetic.
I can't believe I'm...
Dude,
Oh gosh.
no kids, single or it's not married. You know.
Wow.
Oh, that's single.
Yeah, that's true. In the eyes of the law. In the eyes of the law.
How many times have you been married?
A
Oh.
couple times.
You've been married a
Yeah, I've
couple
been married a couple times.
Wow.
About 7 times.
7 times. That's a red
7,
flag.
yeah.
We went all the way back over.
Ben thinks the more you've been married, the more emotionally healthy you are. I've been married 9 times.
Yeah, it's fine.
You don't think I know a thing or two about relationships?
No, I haven't been married a single time.
Yeah.
Haven't even been engaged.
Red flag.
So what? Yeah, it's red. Some people like that color.
Some people's favorite color.
How long have you been in a relationship? Are
The
you in a
longest
relationship?
relationship I've been.
Are you in a relationship right
I
now?
am. Yeah.
How long
It's
has that
been
been?
a little over 6 months.
Okay. So when
Yeah.
are you going to propose?
Fair. At least.
Yeah, what are you waiting for?
Yeah,
Red
what are you
flag?
waiting for?
at least another 6 months. You can't propose before 6 months. You got to do it.
Is that true?
I don't know. The
think so.
Mormons
My
do it
parents
pretty
are
early.
9 months.
Yeah.
They're 9 months. I will tell you this:
No, don't tell me shit.
when well, then I'll tell them.
Okay.
When I get
You've never even
married,
been married.
I don't think I'm gonna do the whole thing, the ceremony. It
Oh, I'm
just
definitely
makes
not.
it
Really?
just
I want
pisses
to go
me
down to the
off.
courthouse.
We do
You
have
go
a
to a
lot of
courthouse?
stories that, weddings are a breeding
Do you think
ground for-
your partner is on board with that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Courthouse
Just
marriage?
like have a party somewhere.
I definitely, if I was going to get married, I would definitely just like go down to the courthouse and get it, get it taken
make it
care of.
happen.
He'd go
Yeah.
down there with a gun.
I want to get married.
Who's it gonna be? You're a pretty cute clerk. Come on,
And then-
sign your own marriage certificate.
I could see planning like a little thing later, but without the pressure too. That's the thing. It's like, the whole marriage industrial complex. It's like,
Dude, we live in a society. Hello.
but like that's the thing too. People get engaged, and then it's like the clock starts ticking. It's like, well, we don't want a long engagement, and we need to start planning, and it's just this, so I could see like getting married and be like, great, it's done. We can have the
Yeah.
tax benefits and everything, and then whenever we want to do something, we can invite everyone to do it. We don't
Yeah.
have to start being like calling venues and it's just
Do you feel any sort of pressure, either of you, on that?
to get married.
Yeah.
No, none.
No.
Sick.
Hell yeah. Well, I have a question to close it out. So now that OP's single, has, let's call it maybe 150-ish, somewhere around there, a lot of money, more money than she had. What should she do with the money now to help secure her and her children's future, in your guys' professional?
Yeah, professional pay
opinions.
pigs.
Well,
opinion.
first of all, we're not professionals.
We're not.
That's
At all,
for
we're not
sure.
even finance guys. We have a show where we make fun of the finance world.
Yeah.
Fair.
And
fair.
So, no. But just to caveat that. And if you like that kind of thing, come join us where we have a comedy show. But yeah, I don't know. You can
Pay off all your debt first.
Yeah, get rid of all that debt.
hmm I would say, instead of here's what you should do, some of the things you shouldn't do. And this is just, I'm living proof because I never do it. Don't buy any new car. She sounds smart enough to not do it.
Yeah, she
so
does
like
sound
not
very-
buy a new car, nothing flashy. Don't live beyond your means. I would put that money in like index funds.
Yep.
Yeah, she was already doing it, right? She like set up her kid and her future kid savings accounts, was immediately like paying off debt. It doesn't sound like she bought like one high ticket item.
Yeah.
It's like, do that shit. Yeah. And now there's like high yield savings accounts she can put it in.
She could also just give it to me.
Yeah.
I'd
That's
take
one
it.
way to do it.
Yeah. Some might say that that's a smart. I would give her stock in me.
I would
Yeah.
also say take your time in dating. It sounds like maybe
Yeah.
you need to really
I think she
see
will.
what's out there.
After this,
Because
she will.
because her biggest financial problem seemed to be
This husband,
fucking
yeah.
jackass.
Yeah.
She seems like she's got a head on her shoulders. So I would say it's a big wide world out there. Find someone you fit with, with similar values, similar goals.
I think that is a beautiful place to end. And thanks for watching. If you guys want to check out these beautiful gentlemen, you should go to Pay Pigs wherever
Wherever you
on
listen.
YouTube,
Yeah,
on
check out the
wherever you
links
listen.
below.
Search for Pay Pigs Pod. Pay Pigs is 2 separate words, and yeah, you'll find us.
Huge.
It's a fun show. Come
It's a
join
good
us.
show. We like it.
Bam.
I inherited over $1 million from my stepdad. His son wants it all, but I'm keeping it. Here's why.
Father, how dare you give half-brother any money?
Papa, how will I be able to order my fleet of racehorses? My 25 female dad passed away when I was very young. And my mom married my stepdad, Lee, when I was 5. Lee is wealthy, and my mom never had to work, and I was given everything growing up. The only thing we never received was acceptance from Lee's family. They were not pleased that Lee chose to marry a widow with a child. Lee and I were close, and he continued to care for me even after my brother Sam, 18, was born. My mom clearly favored Sam and didn't really focus much on me.
New family. Ooh, it's not a new iPhone, Mom.
Yeah, you can't just throw all the old ones in the trash.
Just because I'm an iPhone 3G doesn't mean you can't pay any
Low-key,
attention to me.
iPhone 3G actually would go for a lot now. Lee's relatives warmed up to my mom a little with the birth of Sam, but I was still treated like something invisible. Sam was often invited to Lee's relatives' houses to play, and he and I are not very close. I decided to go to university overseas, and Lee gave me enough money that I didn't have to work or worry financially.
Wow.
He also was the only one calling / writing me regularly. I talked to my mom / Sam like once every couple of months during my university days. After graduation, Lee wanted me to come home, but I wanted to work and be on my own for a bit. The pandemic happened and I was unable to fly back. When the lockdown was over, my family came to visit me once and then left when I preferred to continue working where I am. Lee came to visit me a few more times by himself. A few months ago, Lee passed from a disease he never let anyone know he had. In his will, he left his businesses and house and most valuables to his relatives. My mom got almost nothing though. Can keep what he has already given to her. 2 cars, jewelry, and cash, around $60,000. My mom never legally married him. Sam was given $150,000 and the rest of the money was given to me. It was 7 figures USD, a life-changing amount. 7 figures.
God.
So millionaire.
Dang.
Turns out Sam is not Lee's biological child, which he found out recently. My mom and Sam were mad, of course, and demanded that I share the money with him. I said I'm willing to put the money in some low-risk investments and we can split the gain. Not good enough.
Huh.
They want at least 25% of what Lee left me. I argued that it's not like they are left destitute. Sam can still go to a good university if he cares enough for further education, and my mom has enough money to get her own place, and the investments will give us all long-term incomes. They called me greedy and planned to take legal action, but Lee's relatives told them that they could make my mom and Sam's lives very difficult if they tried to give me a hard time to go against Lee's wishes. I intend to do as I promised them, splitting the gains from the investment with my mom and Sam. I won't let them touch the money Lee left me though, because I don't trust them to not go through that money in just a few years. So, am I the asshole?
Dang. Are there any updates?
No.
Okay. Wow. This is I feel like there's like multiple players in this. There's the family, which if I'm understanding this correct, very worried about mom and Sam contesting the will because then maybe their assets are at risk, right?
But what the issue is OP got like 7 figures and the mom and Sam got like way less comparatively. And so they just want more equal share.
What are they going to say? It was in the will.
It's in the will.
It's
respect
in
the will, you know?
But people don't.
Where people don't respect the will. Yeah, I say just like throw up a pic of the will and say, read this and weep.
Yeah,
and
straight
then
up.
be done with it.
The idea of splitting the gains from the investments is genius.
Super smart. But let us know what you would do in this situation. We'd love to hear it.
Absolutely. And you know what else is a good move?
This next story.
Am I the a-hole for being upset that my siblings get an inheritance, but I don't because I'm a recovering addict?
Probably not. I think if you like you've worked on yourself and you're recovering, I think you should be entitled to every bit of the inheritance.
What are you addicted to? I'm addicted to trolley sour gummy worms.
I'm addicted to working too hard, caring too much.
Yeah, you really do care too much.
Care too much, work too hard.
Listen too deeply.
Take my job too seriously.
It's really a problem. My parents are pretty wealthy. I'm 26 and from 21 to 25 years old, I was in and out of rehabs. I was abusing so many different kinds of substances and I wasted so much money. I OD'd once and it destroyed my family to watch me go through that. My parents are now approaching their late 60s and have started finalizing their wills in inheritance. Yesterday, they sat me down and they told me that I will not be getting any of the inheritance as they don't trust me to not relapse with all that money suddenly in my possession. And as a result, my siblings will be getting my share of the money. That is tough.
It's tough, but I understand.
Yeah, I get where Opie's parents are coming from, you know?
I would probably do the same thing, but with a caveat where it's like you get like, you know, after like a certain amount of years, then it like vests or something.
I was pretty upset about this and I said that they were going to make my siblings rich while I would get nothing from it and that wasn't fair. I was almost yelling at this point. They told me to calm down, but I was too upset to listen and I left.
I mean, but I mean, I get it. It's hard.
I think there's some way
where it's not just giving it all to the siblings.
Yeah. I called my brother and sister and I left and told them what my parents said. And they said it was their choice and there wasn't anything that they could do about it. I accused them of just wanting all the money for themselves and not caring about what happened to me. Today, I have my dad texting me that they are worried about me and disappointed in my behavior yesterday. I talked to my sponsor and he said that while anger is understandable, I have to do everything in my power not to ruin the trust that I've built with my family over the past year and acting like an
addict won't help. Sometimes I still have trouble with my reactions to things now that I'm sober. However, I don't feel as though I'm entirely unjustified here. Am I the a-hole for getting upset? There is an update, but right now, I'm curious, everyone watching, and Sam, like,
especially if anyone has dealt with addiction,
please,
I would love to know
yeah.
your thoughts. I think giving it all to the siblings doesn't feel right either, though.
Yeah.
And they feel like there's not enough trust yet. So I think probably setting up some rules and regulations about how to dole out the money.
Yeah.
Or even like putting the other kids as custodians of OP's part of the will.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I know. I can see how it can get so tricky because what if the other kids just like becomes an asshole and it's like, nah, you know, it's like 10, 15 years in.
Yeah. I mean, I could see my parents, like, I mean, when my sister was younger, putting me in charge of, I don't know what my parents' will is, but like putting me in charge of the finances and then doling it out to my sister.
For sure. Yeah.
Like an older brother, little sister kind of thing, just because they would see me as a bit more responsible.
Oh, you're saying Sophia's unresponsible, huh?
No, she's actually more responsible than me in a lot of ways. Most ways.
We do have an update.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear the update.
After what happened with my parents, I won't lie, I relapsed.
Fuck.
That is awful. I'm sorry, OP.
That sucks.
I had a weekend where I blacked out. I remember getting back to my apartment and all of the drugs and booze I had bought was gone. And it was a Monday morning. It was a lot of stuff. I scared myself so much that I ended up calling my parents and saying that they were right. And I remembered everyone's advice on my last post and apologized for how I treated them and that they were right in not giving me any of their money. I'm now 3 weeks sober and I took Reddit's advice and made a compromise with my parents in regards to my inheritance. If I remain at least 5 years sober and submit to a bi-monthly drug test, they will reconsider part of the money. I hope they do reconsider.
Hey, that's kind of what we were saying.
Yeah, that's pretty close, I think, what we were saying. I know I have a lot of work to do and I still have a lot of selfishness to overcome, but I wanted to thank everyone for helping me try to realize that. Here's to 3 weeks and more.
Dang.
Wow, man. Well, you know, I'm glad that OP is kind of like, it seems like OP is kind of like realizing everything's coming into clarity. He wants to sober up. He's more empathetic and understanding towards his parents.
Yeah. It feels like we're getting to a stronger place overall. Yes. And also maybe like this is like the inheritance might be another thing that keeps OP on the right track. Like if OP is having to do these like drug tests every once in a while, maybe that's like the little extra kick that OP needs to stay sober.
That's what I was thinking, where it's like at first they're worried like, oh, the money could like encourage him to relapse, but could it do the opposite?
The opposite. Yeah. If it's contingent on OP being sober, maybe it does. I got one more story for you. Am I the asshole for giving my inheritance to my brother because my grandparents won't claim him?
Damn, what's going on there? Why are the grandparents like, nah, they didn't give him enough Werther's candy?
Do you know that tin that all the grandparents have that they put their like sewing needles in, but it's like it's actually like cookies?
Right.
Little Jimmy stole the tin.
Interesting.
Little Jimmy stole the tin. I, 20 male, got the largest share of inheritance from my grandparents' trust, who declared me their heir. There's something so weird about being declared an heir.
Declared an heir.
You are hereby declared the heir of the OP fortune. The rest of my family got some inheritance also, but mine is considerably larger than anyone else's. OP's packing.
Yeah.
The money is basically untouchable for me until I become 22. As most of my family, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc., have been living extremely luxuriously on my grandparents' money and not really working, they are not happy with the way the estate has been distributed and are trying to make me sign over the money. Here's where it gets complicated. I have a half brother, 7 male, from my father's affair. 3 years ago, his mother died and he showed up on our doorstep. I can kind of get why my mother and her family hate him, but it's not his fault. He's just an innocent kid. As an illegitimate child, he's really bullied and looked down on by my stupid, snobbish family. The only one who cares about him at all is me.
Damn.
OP's showing a little love.
For real.
My parents have offered to sign over custody to me now in exchange for the inheritance. That is so
Bruh.
I refused because I figure I will be able to sue for custody once I have the inheritance, which I guess makes, because you can hire good lawyers.
It does make sense.
And raising a kid is expensive. I need everything I can get for him. My aunt says I am being the asshole because 2 more years of my brother living as a bastard child while I'm in college will destroy him. And I can save him now if I just give up my inheritance.
You could also save him now by just letting OP
adopt him. And also, how is he going to raise the kid with no money? He's in college. He doesn't have a job.
Bro, the dumbest. Oh.
This is the dumbest logic ever. God. There is an update, by the way. Shortly after the posting, I got a high fever and was pretty out of it for 2 days. When I recovered, my little brother was acting very strange and avoiding me. He wouldn't speak to me and hid behind my cousin and aunt, whoever was the closest relative in the room. Confronting my relatives was useless. They just acted irritatingly smug and told me I should give up on trying to get custody of the kid when he couldn't even be in the same room as me. I was finally able to get my little brother alone in the courtyard and tried to ask what happened. He ran out into the road right in front of an oncoming car. It was dark. He's only 7, small for his age. I knew even as he was running that there was no way the driver can see him. I don't really remember the next few moments. I remember shouting for him to stop and bright white headlights. Next thing I knew, my heart was pulsing my ears and the kid was wrapped in my arms, trembling but safe. I'd managed to pull him back right before the impact. I think he was really shaken up by the near accident and he basically has a meltdown. Turns out that my little brother has another older brother from his mother's side. He is currently in the system. My relatives have been threatening to have him sent to some juvenile center if my little brother didn't start distancing himself from me.
Jeez.
So
Oh my God.
They could probably do this. CPS is basically a joke here. They also warned him not to tell me about his brother because I would be pissed that there was another older half brother. I was pissed, but not for the reasons they claim. After taking my brother to the doctor, he had trouble breathing when he was explaining. I went straight to a lawyer. I didn't feel like I could risk leaving him in their custody for another 2 years. Unfortunately, the requirements for inheritance were strict. Either I needed to have a degree at 22, getting the degree earlier would not help, had to be 22 also, or I could get married. As some of you pointed out, this was much more immediately achievable. I explained the situation to my girlfriend. We got married and I got the inheritance.
Wow.
Some of you had also suggested documenting my relatives' behavior for when I sue for custody. Unfortunately, they were careful not to do anything dubious in writing, and I couldn't record them without consent for court evidence. I could, however, threaten to anonymously send those recordings to the media if they didn't sign over custody immediately. Nobody wanted to risk the PR backlash, so my parents signed pretty quick. I also hired a private investigator to find my brother's other brother and get custody so there was no more leverage. To be honest, I was a little worried what he would be like, but he's really sweet and a lot like my little brother. I don't think he's gotten to have much of a childhood because he's always surprised when I include him in anything. It's really great to see them so happy. They were crying when they finally got united. I'm really relieved that my brother doesn't have to deal with my insane relatives now, but I'm also really worried about what to do going forward. I'm still in college and I'm only 20. I don't feel ready to be a parent to my brother. I don't think it's possible for me to do worse than my parents, but I don't know how to do it well. And with my little brother's brother, I'm really afraid I'll give him an inferiority complex by accidentally or subconsciously not treating him equally. I feel like he's a good kid at heart. He's also largely still a stranger to me. I'm also not sure what boundaries I should draw between my girlfriend and the kids. Our relationship is still pretty new, and we only married so I could get the inheritance. To be honest, I would be surprised if this lasted long term because 1, this is our first relationship, if you don't count middle school, and 2, we've been friends for years, but dating only for a few months. 3, her career plans involve a lot of international travel, where mine are more domestic. Wow. Woo! Shout out to the girlfriend though for being down to get married.
That was a real solid, and she really helped out those 2 kids.
Yeah, she really helped out the kids.
Yeah,
and got that inheritance money too.
Hey, come on now.
Let's go.
Damn, I feel like there's so many things.
I feel like OP is actually doing like a lot of good here though. I feel like OP is trying to do all the right things.
OP is the MVP.
OP is the MVP, yeah.
And I don't know. I'm having a hard time I don't know that I would do anything differently.
I don't think so. I think OP has done everything right.
Yeah.
I think literally I would probably, if I had a girlfriend, I would probably do the same thing on just like get married for the inheritance. Yeah. I'm single now, by the way, so I don't.
Send in your applications to our comment section.
Yeah, to r/OKOP show.
Yeah. Give me half of your inheritance because I'm your brother. We're related. You should
We
just give
share
it to me.
blood.
Yeah.
Thus, we should share money.
Bingo.
Because blood is thicker than gold.
Ooh.
That sounds like some Game of Thrones shit.
We came from the same sack, so give me a sack of money.
Cash.
When my brother was 16 and I was 4, my grandmother set aside a share portfolio for us. So we're talking big money. Them stonks.
Stonks, baby.
As soon as we were old enough, it was transferred into our own accounts, and it was only 4 years later that my brother dipped heavily into his to buy a new Honda.
Yo, he spent all of his inheritance on a freaking Honda.
On a Honda, bro.
Oh, man, that is cringe, bro.
You gotta love it. Now, I knew about mine for much longer than he did before it became mine, and I watched it grow since I understood what it was. Stocks.
Hey, make those stocks turn into big bucks, man. Investing. It's called Wall Street bets.
That's right.
Throw it all into options.
Ooh, yep.
Leverage those options, make a billy.
Boom. Done.
Easy.
Yes. Or be in debt at Billy and
Yeah.
go
And
insane.
then,
but that's okay.
And then go
Then
to
you
jail.
just do another, you do it again.
Yeah. Until you're
and then
out.
you get back out.
Then you go back to zero.
Exactly. By the time I was given full control, it was already worth a ridiculous amount because a big portion of it was invested in Apple.
Wait, this was, he bought it 4 years after. How many years have passed?
So here's the thing. They both got their portfolios at the same time. OP was 4 years old and his brother was 16.
Oh.
So he had 12 more years for it to appreciate before he even had access to it.
Yo.
So that's why, basically.
Wow.
And
so now it's present day.
Now we're at present day.
Oh, Apple has gone up
Crazy, right? For
immensely.
12 years, bro.
Yo.
12
and
years.
it was probably like 40, 50K. It's probably worth hundreds of thousands
Hundreds
now.
of thousands now, yeah. And I'm torn on using the funds locked up as they are because my dad drilled it into me to leave them in and grow until I'm 40 or something. Now, I don't talk much with my brother. He said some stupid things to the family over the years, and I didn't really grow up with him, so all I usually hear about his life comes through my dad. But his new girlfriend works in law, and I've received a formal letter from them, both that the investments my grandmother made were designed to be for the both of us, not just me, and that his was only around $15,000. The number is right, but mine was only worth that at the time he spent it too. So the kicker is, they want half of the value of my portfolio today. And his girlfriend has informed me if I don't give them access, then the legal fees and fines would eat up my half and I'd be left with nothing.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Asshole. Dude, what?
Yes.
That's so shitty.
Yes.
I can't believe the girlfriend's like in on it too.
Oh, shit. That, like, she's like, ooh, my.
I mean, they definitely
come on.
don't have a case, right? Because like they each got 15K. One of them decided to put it on a brand new Honda. And the other decided to actually keep the investment.
Like, what? There's literally nothing you can do. Yeah, you both got an equal amount, 15K each. And then if you spend it, it's done.
Yeah.
It's over.
It's
how
you're
money
not
works.
entitled to her half. Because I kind of want to calculate like how much that is worth really quick.
Said it was majority Apple stock. I can guess he's 22 now, which means he was born in 2000, got the stocks in 2004.
Okay.
So what is Apple stock in 2004?
38
cents.
Apple stock was 38 cents in
Wow.
2004. That means you would have 44,117 shares of Apple. And then wow, what is Apple worth right now? Today?
$143.75.
Yo. Okay. That $15,000 that was invested in 2004 is now worth $6.3 million.
Oh my God.
Yo.
Wow.
What?
That is absolutely insane.
I see why the brother's coming after it. He's
Yeah.
like, holy shit, I
Bro.
fucked up. I have this decrepit
I have an old Honda,
Honda.
and you have $6.4 million.
Invest, kids, invest.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Wow. The dividends alone support a huge part of my life, and they've saved me a few times. I can't imagine.
Dude,
I can't imagine the dividends of $6.4 million. If half of that disappeared, it'd set me back a few years. It probably
From what,
would.
retirement?
It probably would, bro.
Set you back a few years from what?
Having 6 million instead of 3.
Dude, I need to invest, bro.
Dude, we really need to get
and that's
on
why
it.
you should invest in. No, wrong.
Yeah. Hey, the sponsor. Come on. This is your
this is
moment.
your perfect segment.
Now, I know it sounds selfish, but I'm really used to having the extra income to back me up when I've wanted to move. It's your money. I've lived in 4 states by my own choice, and I want to move and take in more before I settle down, if I ever do. How likely is it that they'll win and leave me with nothing? As far as I know, there was no paperwork or will, just my grandmother's word. That sucks.
Ooh, that's a
That
big yikes.
sucks.
That's a big
That's
yikes.
very bad. Because then they can say, well, grandma told me that I can get half of whatever he has. Boom. What can you say? My grandmother set up the bank accounts for my brother and me at the same time when my brother was 19. But she gave mine to my dad, and my dad gave me my whole share 6 years ago. For my share, I have all the logins, the trading accounts, and bank accounts that are all in my name, and the shares are solely in my name as well. Should I find my own lawyer? And if I need one, what kind do I need? I have an accountant I've used for years, but this doesn't seem like an accounts problem, but a law one. And there's an update. Mostly good news. I worked with my dad and got my own lawyer. I got the timeline of my shares wrong, but it comes out to the same amount. What my brother and I inherited from my grandmother was originally part of my grandfather's portfolio. He was the one that was savvy with money. My grandmother looked after it after he died, and she personally set up my brother's account and gave him control of his portion. She did not do the same with mine before she died. I thought she had already set aside the accounts and given up control before passing. Instead, the shares were in her will, and she left everything to my dad with the instruction that we both receive $15,000 worth, and I get it when I'm old enough to take care of it. And I get my portion when I'm old enough to take care of it. She simply trusted my dad, and my dad did the right thing and set up all the accounts for me and gave me control 6 years ago. My dad put some of his own shares in there as well for an extra leg up. My dad said he chewed out my brother last year when he asked my dad for money. And dad had supported him several times throughout the years and got to the point where he'd had enough. My brother found out that I still had my investments because my dad used me as an example of how he should handle his money. So dad accidentally ratted him out. And then he started this whole scheme to like come after him.
Wow.
Crazy. According to all the info my lawyer tells me, I'm in the clear.
Woo.
Hey, and we won't even get to court because my brother's girlfriend was only a legal secretary.
Yo.
I say was because the firm she worked for apologized and informed my lawyer she was terminated immediately. So not only is it like completely just for nothing, she even got fired.
Wow. Dude, totally F up your life here.
The letter I received from them had edited to put her name in a position higher up than it should have been and some contact info that had been changed. A week after she was fired, my brother visited me begging for money. His girlfriend is in serious debt and took a chance on scamming cash from me and lost. I feel awful rejecting my own brother over and over, and if he hadn't involved his girlfriend needing the amount of money well into 5 figures, I would have given him some money. The next morning, I found all my tires had been slashed. Screw him.
What?
I don't feel bad anymore.
Oh my God. This brother sucks. Slashed all our tires.
That's how you know. Like, he clearly just like
he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He's living a completely irresponsible life, and he just is selfish and just wants what he wants.
And he thinks everyone will pick up the slack.
Yeah. Wow.
That was crazy, dude. Damn, fuck. I'm still blown away on the Apple stock thing, dude. Invest in Apple, man.
Absolutely insane.
Give me all your inheritance because I'm your daughter. I said no because I know exactly what you're going to spend it on.
Vodka.
My now deceased ex-wife and I have 5 kids together, 21 female, 24 female, 28 male, 30 male, and 35 male. A few years ago, their mother passed away and left them each with a very large inheritance.
over $300,000 each, evenly distributed among them. Prior to her passing, she made it clear to them that this money was not to be wasted. It was to 1. Be used to pay off debt, 2. to further education, and 3. to put towards buying a home.
What about Funko Pops, though?
2 of my kids, 24 female and 28 male, have completely squandered this money in just a couple years. $300K? My daughter spent it all traveling across the world, carefree, staying in nice hotels, and eating fancy dinners. I completely understand going on a vacation. Who doesn't want a vacation?
For real.
But to blow all of it on travel against her mother's wishes is bloody shameful. My son is even worse. He has spent literally all of it on drugs, alcohol, and escorts over this time.
Ooh.
Like, even your dad knows you can't get any of that good.
And then he's like, hey, Dad, this is... it's an escort. Who am I trying to fool?
This is Crystal. None was going towards self-improvement as their mother wanted.
Shame on you.
I'd say that maybe some of those escorts improved something.
Come on now, something's going up.
Yeah, something's lifting up there, I think. So I continued to hound them over this time and time again until, as I expected, it was all bloody wasted. Once this happened, I decided to cut them both out of my will, as I don't want my hard-earned money to be squandered so my children can live a hedonistic lifestyle for a few years.
Fair.
I told this to their siblings in confidence so that they would be prepared to deal with the fallout when I eventually pass. So I died yesterday. One of them, not sure who, let it slip. And now they've gone off the deep end and proclaimed I'm dead to them and they don't have a dad. I don't want to go into the long, bitter feud with my kids, but damn if I'm going to have my life savings wasted by them also. Any advice on how to fix this?
I think you lean into it, give them a ton of money, and you say, spend this as fast as possible.
I say you give your son the number of your favorite escort and say, hey, don't spend your money on just any escort. This is the escort.
Control. Not like shut down.
In reality, I actually think the best way to do it is for those 2 problem kids is say, yes, I'm going to give you actually my inheritance, but I'm only going to give you 1/30 of it every year.
There's rules I believe you can set like with your estate where it's like, for instance, like people do it with like college, like you will unlock this portion once you have a degree from like a bachelor's degree or something. Like it's got to be something.
But John,
what?
There's an update. So I took the advice of the previous thread, which was overwhelmingly to consider setting up a trust fund for my 2 problem children. Before I even invited the 2 over to them to talk the issue over, my son called to apologize for how he was acting. He doesn't want to be written out of the will.
Yup.
He seemed genuinely ashamed of the things he had said and admitted that it was wrong of him to waste his mother's savings like that. Anyway, I invited the 2 of them to tell them my plans. As I say, my son seemed very apologetic, while my daughter was clearly still upset with me. I told them that I would reinstate their inheritance, but since they've demonstrated extremely poor money management, that I will only do so through a trust. That I'd talk to a proper lawyer/financial expert on setting them up, and they'd be designed to provide them and any future children they have over many years after I've gone. That them blowing through it in a few years is simply not an option.
Truly.
Son took the news very well and said he wouldn't trust himself with that kind of money anyway. I'm not sure what caused such a sudden change of heart in my son, but as I say, it seemed genuine. He also offered to go to therapy for his sex/drug addiction if I helped pay, to which I agreed.
That's good.
I'll make sure this therapist actually exists, don't worry. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to a therapist. She really just knows what I need.
Exactly.
However, my daughter did not take it well.
Oh dear.
You ratted me the out.
Christ. Far worse than I expected. Here I am willing to give them a second chance, and she just blows up about how it's not fair, that it's only them, and that they don't get the money outright. I explained that their siblings had demonstrated they were responsible with the money, hence why I would leave it to them outright. Nope, not good enough for her. She doubled down that spending all of her mother's $300,000 on travel was justified.
There we go, baby. The double down.
She had the gall to call me extremely upsetting names and accuse me of being emotionally abusive. Why would you emotionally abuse me like that?
You're giving me so many intrusive thoughts right now.
You're gaslighting me. So I told my daughter that as I'm retiring soon, perhaps I should experience the joys of travel also. Perhaps I should spend her inheritance that I've worked for my entire life on travel myself. She stormed out and hasn't contacted me since. Boom. Really proud of how my son's taken the news. Extremely disappointed in my daughter. Genuinely considering spending her part of the inheritance on travel myself at this point.
Honestly, do it.
Do it, bro.
Why not? You know,
this is ridiculous. Come on. She seems like a brat.
What would you do if you had
A bratty
two out
daughter.
of 5 children that like literally just squandered away all of their initial inheritance?
I would just still do the trust, even if the daughter's like, I don't get it. I mean, she's 24, a little old, but like they're probably like a little spoiled. I think go forward with the plan. Who cares if she's being a whiny baby about it?
My parents passed down a hereditary illness, but they never told me.
How dare they share my genes?
I, 28 female, recently found out I have a serious hereditary illness that's going to screw up my life, and I'm so mad I can barely type this out. It's a degenerative illness, no cure, nothing. My body's just going to slowly get worse, and the kicker? My parents have known this could happen my entire life and never said a dang word. By the way, this comes from user Quirky Background 838 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I'm going to tell you right now, I kind of agree with not telling you.
Because, like, I mean, what are you going to do?
What's the difference?
Well, I think it's good to know, but I don't think they're terrible people for not telling.
So, this illness runs in my family. My dad's mom has it. His sister, my aunt, died from it a few years ago. I was living overseas when she passed, and my parents told me it was cancer. Cancer. They lied right to my face. Wasn't until I got diagnosed that they finally came clean and admitted that she had the same illness that I do. When I confronted them, my dad wouldn't give me a straight answer. I asked if he had it too, and he dodged every single question, acting like I was overreacting. My mom, on the other hand, tried to justify it by saying they didn't want me living in fear. Are you kidding me? I could have been prepared. Instead, they chose to let me walk into this blind, which is what would happen if you had macular degeneration. And here's where it gets worse. I have a 2-year-old son, which means that my child might have this, and they never told me that I was at risk. I could have had him tested, made informed decisions, but no, they took that from me, and now I live in constant fear for him too. Then my mom had the nerve to ask me if I would have rather not been born than deal with this. Can you believe that? She turned it around on me like I'm the monster for even thinking it. And you know what? Yeah, I said it. Yes, I would rather have not been born than to deal with this disease.
No way. I don't believe that.
It seems like a pretty hot take to me. I don't know.
I don't believe that.
In the vast, endless menagerie of color and experience that life has to offer.
Yeah.
I think that you could find some value in it regardless of what genetic
Even
disorders
20
that you
years of living life is
amazing.
Life is amazing.
Yes, I would rather have not have been born than deal with this disease. They made a selfish choice, and now I'm paying for it. They knew the risks and did it anyway for themselves. They wanted kids, and now I'm stuck with this. I called them selfish, and I meant every word. Now they're begging me not to tell my younger siblings. They don't know about this yet and haven't been tested, and my parents want to keep it that way. They're hoping they'll get lucky, but I'm not going to lie to them. I refuse to let them be blindsided like I was. They deserve to know the truth. I've gone low contact with my parents. I can't stand to even think about them right now. My mom keeps trying to guilt trip me, saying that they were just trying to protect me. But protect me from what? The truth? No, they weren't protecting me. They were protecting themselves from the guilt of knowing that they passed this on, and now they want me to protect them too, but I won't. I love my son and my siblings too much to lie to them. I ended up telling my siblings. We met at my sister's house, and I just came out with it. I have Huntington's, and it's hereditary.
Y'all called it.
You should both get checked. My brother started panicking. He and his fiancé just started trying to get pregnant, and now he's terrified. He's furious with our parents and fully on my side. He confronted them right after, and now we're both going low contact. My sister was more shocked and distant, but she said she'll get tested. My parents are pissed that I told them without waiting for the right time, but I don't regret it. My siblings deserved the truth, and I wasn't going to let them live in ignorance like I did. And I think, like you said, there really isn't a right time for this anymore. It's the right time.
Yeah, the right
gone
time
forever.
is as soon as possible.
So, am I the a-hole for going low contact and refusing to keep their secret, even though they claim they were just trying to protect me? I'm kind of split down the middle a little bit here.
I think OP is getting pretty. OP is upset, right?
OP's shocked. Like,
yeah,
I'd
it's
be
an
shocked.
emotional thing for sure.
But I do think that telling the rest of the family is good.
It's a good move, yeah, for sure. They needed to know.
They
like
needed
the
to know.
parents, Like, I think they were coming from the right place, but then in practice, it was the wrong thing. And I don't think it's fair to completely disregard their intent.
Yeah, I don't think they're
to like kind of
terrible.
give you a better life instead of this thing where you have this like giant anvil hanging over you that could fall on you at some moment.
The parents aren't terrible, evil people. They were trying to do what's best, but I do think
it wasn't right.
I don't think it was right.
I told my siblings, we met at my sister's house. I just came out with it. I told them that what I had said and that it was hereditary. My sister thanked me for telling her and told me that she would get tested but seemed distant. I get it. It's very heavy, so I've been giving her space but made it clear that I'm here for her. My brother looked horrified because he and his fiancé had started trying for a baby, and the fear in his eyes was immediate. His fiancé, who works as a senior nurse in palliative care, didn't take it lightly either. She deals with degenerative diseases every day and had a family member die from one, so this news hit her hard. She immediately took control of the situation. She has a lot of connections in the medical field because of her work, and she's been pulling strings to get my brother's test done as fast as possible. She's also been making sure I get the care I need, reaching out to specialists she knows personally. She's actually moving things around and calling in favors to ensure that I'm seen quickly. Good for her. On top of that, she's been adamant that I need to see a counselor, pushing me to get emotional support. That is also so true. I can't believe we didn't say therapy one time during that entire discussion. Given her experience, she knows how hard this is going to be, and I'm grateful she's making it happen because I wouldn't know where to begin. My husband and I have also been having difficult conversations about the future. We've decided to make my will, and I've been clear with him about when I won't want to continue living if things get too bad. I've also started recording videos for my son. I watched P.S. I Love You years ago, and the idea of leaving something behind for my husband and son feels like a way to hold on to a part of me.
Aww.
Yeah, that's so sweet. And sad at the same time. We're planning to speak to a child psychologist soon to figure out the best way to prepare our son for what's coming, though we haven't started yet. And also to weigh our option about him and the possibility of him getting this illness from me. We're not going to make an uninformed decision. On Saturday, our parents invited all of us over to their house saying they wanted to talk. My sister came too, but she didn't stay long. As soon as my parents started explaining how they kept the illness hidden to protect us, she couldn't take it. She stood up, said she couldn't handle it, and left. She's been distant since, and it feels like I've lost her a little. I know she's terrified, but it still hurts to see her pulling away. After my sister left, everything exploded. My parents turned on me, blaming me for ruining the family and accusing me of causing all this chaos by telling the truth. No, they kept saying they did it to protect us, but I just couldn't respond anymore. That's when my brother's fiancé stepped in. She completely laid into them, telling them that they had no right to keep something this serious from us. She told them that they hadn't protected us, they had betrayed us. And I was so relieved that she stepped in because I didn't have the energy to argue anymore. Then my dad snapped. He started shouting at her, telling her to stay out of it, and he shoved me. I couldn't even react. I was so shocked. And I'm shocked as well reading this. My husband immediately stepped between us, grabbed my dad's arm and told him he'd better never touch me again. My dad just kept shouting, saying I was the one who was tearing the family apart and blowing everything out of proportion. But you can't blow getting like Huntington's out of proportion.
That's like the worst thing that you could be diagnosed
This is the debt that you have accrued, the parents. This is the debt you accrued after all this time of not telling them.
Like, get physical to the point where the husband has to get...
So that was it. We left. My brother and his fiancée walked out with us, and since then, none of us have spoken to my parents. They've been calling, but I don't want to hear their excuses. They're still insisting that they did everything to protect us, but it feels like they were just protecting themselves from guilt. I don't have the energy for their manipulations anymore. But I'll always have energy for you to join us live on YouTube every week at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap that profile. Every single day after 13 that these kids didn't know that they had Huntington's potentially was a mistake.
I think
every day,
dude, you got to go
and
earlier
that's this
than 13.
entire moment.
You got to go at least Harry Potter.
This whole
age.
blow up moment that they've
Harry
had
Potter
was
learned that he was a wizard
debt.
at 11.
They had to pay the debt that they had accrued after all that time of not having the truth out there.
There's a difference between like, hey, you're a wizard, between like, hey, you might not.
Yeah, you're a wizard. Harry knew at 11.
You're a hairy wizard. The story is coming to a close. Right now, my brother and I are focused on getting tested. His fiancé is doing everything she can to keep things moving forward. She's been an incredible support, and we're relying on her to help us navigate what comes next. I'm focusing on my son, my husband, and preparing for the future. There's too much at stake to keep fighting about a secret that never should have been kept in the first place. And that is the end of that story.
Well, when do you think you should tell your kid that they have Huntington's? Put your answers in the chat below.
All right. I guess I see early, like, because the kids are adaptable.
That's what.
Before puberty.
Oh, sure. Listen to chat, but not me.
I feel like 11, 12, 13, that's before puberty.
Oh, now you're doing 11, 12. Wow. It really does.
You brought up Harry Potter.
Well, I was
11
just saying,
years old.
which is why I was saying like 13 years way too late. Harry learned that he was a wizard at 11, and you're just going to disregard Harry Potter.
Okay, 11 then. 11.
I mean, but like
that's
10.
still late childhood.
Yeah, but there's early admissions to Hogwarts.
I stole my pervy dad's $300,000 inheritance after he abandoned me, and now his bimbo girlfriend gets nothing. Am I the a-hole?
I love a story where OP just takes all the familial wealth. You know?
I love it.
Like, hey, this was going to be divvy up. No. This is mine.
My 36 female dad was always a mean, bad-tempered, abusive, bullied anyone who would stand for it, which unfortunately included my mom, who was completely submissive by the time my brother and I were old enough to get out of the house. Our homes were always open to her. To him, not so much.
Screw that guy.
Then, last year, he surpassed himself after a heart attack.
How dare you have a heart attack? Freaking selfish dad.
After a heart attack mom devotedly nursed him through, he decided he'd never really lived. And he threw my mom out of the house that they owned in joint name. She came to me, and we were glad to have her, and moved in a girl known to the family as Dad's bimbo.
That is quite the reputation.
She never held a job, has no qualifications whatsoever, which is difficult to do in the school all families went to, including ours, and is exactly 1/3 his age.
Hey. Daddy-o knows how to pick him a hot.
I refuse to believe that she was attracted to him. The stereotypical bad-tempered, overweight, red-faced gammon.
Dang.
God, that really paints a picture. Well, sucks to be the bimbo. He had another heart attack last month and died in a state. Under English rules of people who die without a will, the house is the mom's automatically, and the relatively small size of the rest of the estate means that she gets all of that too. And the bimbo, of course, gets nothing.
You didn't get married fast enough.
So we went in, emptied the house of all portable valuables. We replaced Dad's big screen with a small portable one and served her 28 days notice to get out. Now she's blowing up about her rights all over social media and the small rural town that we live in.
What rights?
I want the money.
Just because you bang someone doesn't mean you get their money.
I want it. We don't care. She says that she gave up a government apartment to move in with him, and now she can't get it back. We don't care. She gambled and she lost. She now says that she's pregnant.
No way. I don't believe that for a second.
We don't believe her, and it hasn't stopped her from smoking and drinking. The key to any successful pregnancy.
Yeah. You want that baby to be resilient.
My husband thinks that we ought to find out if she is indeed carrying her half sibling. Well, we don't care. Even if she is, the kid is entitled to exactly 1/3 of what me and my brother are sharing, i.e. bugger all, which means basically nothing.
Right, because the house is included in that.
So, am I the a-hole for ignoring this woman's alleged child? This is England. She won't end up on the streets, but she won't get my mom's house and garden either. Ladies and gentlemen, a bit of a tricky one.
Except it's not. I say this girl doesn't really deserve anything. Just because I hook up with someone doesn't mean they're entitled to my estate.
The question to all of you, to you, Samuel, is OP the a-hole for ignoring this potential child?
Maybe a little. I think it just seems very convenient. I think just be like, okay, you say that's your child, paternity test, and then we'll talk.
I think that is the course
of action. We'd love to know what you think. What would you do in this situation? Would you pay for the paternity test? Would you just ignore? And also, do you know of any relationships
relationships greater than 20 years? And have they been successful?
I want to get a good tally.
Because apparently there's a lot of data that shows the further apart in age you are, the less successful the marriage will be. But we'd love to hear your stories because we love hearing from you guys.
Yeah, we do.
And especially our public subscribers. And this is on the story He Was Robbed Blind, where OP asked, am I the for asking my boyfriend to charge his family members for fraud? Public subscriber Carmen Arena says, starting off, get married first. Do not buy a home with a boyfriend. The boyfriend is unable to confront someone who has harmed him, then boyfriend is not someone who needs to be building a future with. If you can't deal with confronting someone, you might not be ready for a full-ass future with someone.
Yup.
And then Shonak Malik says, such an underrated channel. Love y'all. We love you too. And
so much. I'm mad because I robbed my brother of his full inheritance. He sued, and you won't believe the court results.
I like this Reddit version of Robin Hood. You know, take from your brother, give to yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly what Robin Hood did.
Hey, we love Robin Hood. We love a Robin Hood story, you know.
There we go.
It really lightens our heart over here.
Robin Hood for self, baby. I'm trying to do that for me. I'm about it.
Hey, bro, take yours, fam.
That's right. All right, let's see what OP's got for us. My brother Ben, 35, is spoiled rotten. Like a filthy apple. Mom favored him over us girls. He always got what he wanted, or even threw tantrums, even at my sister's funeral. She was 16, Ben was 14, and I was 11.
And okay, but honestly, like I understand throwing a tantrum, but everyone grieves differently, especially when you're like 14. I can understand not keeping your composure when you're 14 and your sister just died. So
my dad has 2 brothers and 1 sister. When my uncle was 22, he came out as gay. My grandparents were shocked, but they loved and accepted him for who he was. My dad married my mom, and with my uncle, they did lots together.
That's interesting. Okay, yeah. See, whenever I hear a Reddit story, they say my dad and my uncle did lots together, I feel like I'm being set up for, you know, like a hub recommendation right here.
Now, to us, he was the fun uncle. My aunt and other uncle married their partners, but they were always critical of my gay uncle because of his life choices.
Dude, gay fun uncle sounds sick.
Honestly, gay fun uncle is like, that is top tier uncle right there in my book. Now, my grandparents held the family together, but in 2016, they both passed away within 9 months of each other.
That's true love, passing away 9 months after your significant other passes away.
I literally read this and I thought it was me because my grandparents passed away in 2016, not 9 months apart, but like it was literally like 3 weeks. Like it was like so far or less. Yeah, it was.
I think the
crazy.
longer you take to die after your significant other, the less you actually love them. If you're not dying directly after your significant other and you're past 80, what are you doing?
Die already. Jeez. But, okay, this is crazy. After they passed away, my aunt and my other uncle disowned my gay uncle. So they were literally just waiting to disown them till after the grandparents died.
Oh, dude, that's kind of whack, bro.
That is so, oh my God. Like
So
I already
lame.
disagree with not accepting a gay person, but also to like, I don't know, the grandparents die and then you
yeah, it's like, it just feels like you're not like carrying on the grandparents' legacy. You're actively stomping on it.
Exactly. My uncle was upset at this news.
Well, obviously.
But he and my dad have always been close, so we literally became his only family. God, I just don't understand people. I just don't understand. Then in 2019, my gay uncle was diagnosed with lung cancer. He rewrote his will and he asked my brother to be the executor because dad wasn't coping with him being sick. My brother Ben accepted it as he believed that my uncle would split everything in his will between him and myself.
Not this.
So brother Ben thought he was getting that half.
Getting some cash. Ooh.
That sweet change, baby. My uncle ended up passing away in May of 2021. My dad, my uncle's boyfriend, and I were there with him. I called and messaged my brother repeatedly, but he didn't even answer or come to say goodbye.
It's getting weird.
Why?
What is wrong with these people? Now, at the funeral, my dad was a mess, but my brother was giddy.
Oh, she passed away? Oh.
all right.
Giddy? Like happy at a funeral?
I just don't even know what to say anymore.
Maybe. All right, let's give him benefit of the doubt, John. Hold in your anger for 1 second. All right,
Okay.
wait, just hold your anger. What if he's just celebrating that person's life instead of mourning their death?
Dude,
you know,
he's literally like, I'm imagining him coming in and like just throwing down, like he brought a football, like, yeah, touchdown. Like, man, we're doing it for our boy.
Yeah,
Big
exactly.
uncle.
Yeah, big uncle energy. Yeah,
that's exactly what he's doing.
He's hyped that,
he's in the good place now,
Yeah,
he's like,
exactly.
yes,
and there's just like
of
the life
course.
he's led has been so meaningful and beautiful. He just wants to celebrate with a good spike touchdown.
Except he's a
Oh, all right. Let's see.
Now, a couple of weeks later, my brother was pestering my dad to find the will, so we looked into my uncle's safe. Dad unlocked it, and Ben grabbed the paperwork. Soon after, he swiped everything off my uncle's desk, swore, yelled, and stormed out of the room. He's just a sweetheart. He just keeps giving,
What did he see?
Bro, let's find out. Sam, we talk about a lot of really hard situations on this podcast.
Oh, baby, the hardest.
And Sam, that's not the only thing that we need hard in this world.
Fellas, if you're trying to play a little game of hide the zucchini and you want that zucchini to be nice, firm, and strong, I think you're going to want to hear about our next sponsor.
We are working with Blue Chew, ladies and gentlemen. Blue Chew tablets. It is the best option to get your wiener stiff.
And you might be like, oh, I don't need it. But hey, you never know until you try. You could already be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but what if you were Superman? What if you were Tom Brady throwing spirals every freaking day in the bedroom?
That's right, guys. Blue Chew wants you to have better sex.
And I do too, personally.
We want your dongs rock hard. Discover all your options at bluechew.com. Just chew it and do it, baby.
And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code OKOP at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. I'm like free, like actually free. That's bluechew.com. Promo code OKOP to receive your first month free.
Come on.
Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And I just want to thank Blue Chew one more time for sponsoring this podcast and making the hard things hard and our life easy.
Oh, yes. Back to the episode. Later, I found out that the will that my uncle had split with the estate was split 4 ways, not 2. 1/4 to my brother, myself, my uncle's boyfriend, and cancer research. So Ben thought he was getting half.
And
he
he's
got
like,
a quarter.
what the fuck? Why is cancer research getting my quarter?
Now, my brother Ben was angry that he only got 1/4. He contested the will and he claimed that he only accepted the job of executor because he was promised half of all the will. He wants that money.
Was that actually promised to him, you think?
I think there's something about it later in the story.
Okay, let's keep going.
He believed that he should get half and the other half should be split 3 ways with everybody else. It went to court in October of 2022. I testified, and when asked if my brother should get half of the estate because of all the work he had to do, I said no.
Why?
I said that my dad and I had done more than my brother did, helping my uncle simplify all of his other affairs prior to death, and that my uncle was a deliberate man and we should respect his wishes because it's written in the will. Like, it's written in the will.
There's a reason they call it the last will and testimony. I mean, like, he probably put some thought into that.
That's right. Ben was livid, but he still thought that he could win it. He didn't. Early December, I got notified that Ben got a 1/4 minus the costs of the court proceedings, and the rest of us each got a 1/4. So he literally ended up getting even less than he thought he would because he had to pay his lawyer fees and stuff.
Oh, get wrecked.
Chef's kiss. He went nuts demanding that I compensate him because I cost him his money.
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Yo, you were the one who went around and sued.
Like, where do you get off? Like, is there not 1 ounce of reasonability in your body? Now, my mom blew up my phone with, how could you do this to my baby? And relatives are telling me that I did the wrong thing. What the is wrong with you people? God.
What is this family of absolute units that have 0 brain cells? Yeah, come on. Anyone with at least 2 brain cells would realize this actually is the situation unfolded in the way that it should have. Like anyone with 2 brain cells would recognize that.
Like he got what he, not even what he does. You could argue what he deserved. He literally got what he got. Like it just is what it is. Like he sued, it cost him money. The end. So my family decided to up the ante. My mom banned me from Christmas. My parents divorced when I was 16. Bro, the Christmas ban over here because of my poor behavior, and told everyone I refused to come after what I did. So they're not even saying they banned her. They're saying like, oh, she refuses to come because we didn't accept her.
Why is this family consists of a bunch of liars and dummies? Like everyone. And
literally
also, like,
every person.
It's Christmas. Christmas is a time to celebrate, cheer, to be near the friends and family that you love, to forgive, forget, and bring in the new year with hope, love, and prosperity. They ain't doing none of that.
Now, brother Ben had a New Year's Eve party, and my sister-in-law sent me a message saying sorry with a picture of my photo on Ben's dartboard and a sign telling his guests at the party to throw darts at my picture, and message my cell number telling me I'm an a-hole. It doesn't end.
That's next level. That's some serious bullying. A dartboard. That's kind of like, bro, that's pretty up.
This is the most unnecessary thing ever. I only got 2 messages from his friends, so I don't think I am the a-hole, but am I the a-hole?
No, don't think so. I think someone's just salty that they attacked you legally and lost.
Dude. I mean, look, we get a lot of families that are like where OP is the only one with reason, and just like every single person surrounding them is an idiot. We hear it. You know what I mean? We've heard those stories.
Yeah.
But something about this one, the way that they just kept like upping the ante, it's like, we don't believe you, and you're banned from Christmas, and we're throwing you on a dartboard, and you should pay your brother back. It's like, where does it end?
Where does it stop? Where does it stop? Like, come on. Dartboard is the worst for me. Like everything else, I'm like, okay, that sounds like normal, like just someone being an asshole. But when you move up to the dartboard, it feels like evil. Like it feels like this guy is like going to kill, you know, like a basilisk in Harry Potter 2. Like, kill.
I feel like literally like the family they're just gonna keep doing like stunts like this until eventually they're just gonna bust into OP's house with like shiesties and sky masks and just like, why'd you have to do it? Why'd you have to
give us the money, bro?
give us the money he deserves
right
now.
OP at gunpoint.
of their life savings. Like now, you know what? God. It's interest time, baby. We've come to collect.
Yeah.
Like,
geez.
God, where do you end? Oh my goodness. Wow.
I refuse to give my sister any of my $6 million inheritance, and here's why.
I, female 24, have 4 siblings. Max, male 31, Lisa, female 20, Chris, male 20, Emily, female 18. Emily is disabled, and because of that, my parents dedicated themselves 100% to her, leaving the rest of us to fend for ourselves. When Max left for college, I became the main caregiver for my siblings, and all household chores were my responsibility. I want to make it clear that Emily's disability does not stop her from functioning like any other person, and she doesn't require any assistance or supervision or 24/7 care. I would love to actually know what the disability is.
Yeah, I was just
then.
about to ask. I wonder what it is.
ADHD. However, my parents have always spoiled her rotten, and she is very rude, mean, and entitled. My parents raised her with a mentality that her disability means she's allowed to do whatever, and everyone needs to bend backwards for her, which is probably not a great parenting style. Yeah. My grandparents passed away 3 years ago, and I inherited everything. Approximately $6 million.
Wow. Golly.
That's a lot.
That's just imagine you just got $6 million. I mean, when everything is $6 million, you know, everything could be 2 paper clips.
They were very well off, I know. The reasons I received all of it are because of the following. 1, when my parents were sick, Max contacted them after almost 10 years of silence because he wanted to know how much he will receive.
Nice.
How shitty.
A+ move, bro.
2, they were very aware of how my mom treated me and my siblings, and she was disowned. 3, they are very religious, and Lisa came out as bi at 14, and Chris came out as gay at 17.
So they're not basically the grandparents are homophobic and not giving the right. Wow. Okay.
I went to North Carolina with my parents after I moved for college, and when Lisa and Chris started college, I offered to cover all of their living/educational expenses as long as they do well in school.
Okay.
They gladly accepted. Okay, nice.
That is good. That's a good start.
I also helped my BFF Lola start her own business. That's kind of nice.
I mean, they need to do that. That's a cool move.
I haven't spoken to my parents in 6 years. I haven't blocked them. They just never called or texted. This year, Emily started college and she burned out all of her college fund in less than 4 months because she's a spoiled brat and bags are more important than rent.
But the Louis, though.
The Louis. My disability is not being poor.
Ow.
I don't know how to conserve my cash.
Yeah.
In addition, she's doing horrible in school because she isn't even attending her classes, and she will most likely be expelled or held back.
Oh, dang.
My mom called me 2 weeks ago, not to ask, but demand that I do the same for her as I do for Lisa and Chris. I said no, because growing up, I was literally a slave for her and my parents. I'm helping Lisa and Chris because they're the only ones that treated me as family. I ended up calling by telling her that for 18 years, Emily was their only kid. So now they have no right to demand anything from the kids that they practically abandoned.
Dang.
Now I'm getting it from everyone except Lisa and Chris because I'm causing unnecessary drama. I'm causing a rift between Emily and her siblings. Emily will be the only one without a degree. It's not really my money, and my grandparents would want me to help her. Then why didn't they leave anything to her?
Facts.
But I mean, I don't know if I can really justify the grandmas and the grandparents because they're kind of homophobic.
That's true.
So,
but,
family is family, and I should help my little sister. It's not her fault that my parents were bad parents to me. True, but she doesn't do anything to change her behavior. She's disabled, and it's not okay to discriminate. I feel like I'm doing the right thing, but everyone is telling me I'm not. So, am I the a-hole? There is a little update giving some clarification, but quick input. What do you think? And also, all of you, and also anyone listening, and also anyone watching, what do you think? What would you do in this situation if you got $6 million and it was only to you? Would you just run off to an island? Would you help your family? What would you do?
Yeah, I think Opie is pretty much the not the a-hole and seems to be the angel. Again, would love to know what the disability was, and also was it Lisa and Chris? Those were the two people that were not straight that didn't receive.
So Max is the one that called and was like, how much money I get, and it was disowned.
Right.
Lisa and Chris were the like bisexual and gay.
Right. So they're like,
yeah, and
the
Emily's
grandparents just took
one.
them out of the picture.
Yeah.
I'm almost a little bit like, I'll just say this one thing before moving on. Like, you got $6 million and you only paid for school. I'm like,
I know.
Maybe a little more. Maybe I don't know.
I would like split a little bit more.
A little bit more. Maybe that's to come. That's what I'm thinking.
And maybe
right now.
she just wants to be a constant benefactor in their life for like years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But that's what I'm thinking right now.
Okay. So for the Q&A, which is actually kind of interesting, we get some updates, right? What disability does she have? Opie doesn't know. My parents never told me. And when anyone asked, they would get very defensive. So like, what is the disability? If it doesn't require, like,
I feel like it's good for family to know.
Is it a physical disability that you can see?
I totally understand not like wanting to explain yourself to everyone, but I don't know. I'm curious why not with the family.
Like, I don't know. Okay, so I guess OP doesn't know at all about the disability. I just want to know what it does. Does it do anything? Interesting. Can Emily get government assistance? No, because she doesn't have any documentation that attests she is disabled. My parents were fighting with doctors because they all refused to sign any document that said she was disabled.
Okay.
It sounds like Emily ain't disabled. How much is Emily actually spending? Well, she renewed her closet, purchased a very expensive car, and partied until she dropped. For reference, my parents have high-paying jobs, and Emily's college fund was $587,000.
And she blew through that in 4 months?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yes.
Oh my, wow.
Did me and my siblings have a college fund? No. FYI, writing these, I'm starting to question if my sister's actually disabled or if it was just what my parents wanted to believe. My family thinks she was disabled because she did not learn how to walk until she was 5 and she didn't talk until she was 7. And then this is the juiciest update of all.
Oh, there's a juicier update. Okay.
My mom called a few minutes ago to tell me Emily is pregnant. So I need to help her.
Oh my God.
I blocked them all. It's a fake pregnancy. LMAO.
Oh,
wow.
The coercion.
I'm so confused because it started like the family has a family just been lying about Emily's disability?
But then it's like, why? Unless they're like, I mean, look, we have people on all the time that are like crazy and do things for inexplicable reasons, but still.
None of the doctors wanted to say that she had a disability.
That's crazy to me.
That's weird. That's weird. Okay, wait. We'll break this down a little bit more, but please let me know what you think. Do you think that OP's sister, Emily, actually has a disability? Do you think OP has to give Emily any money? Please let us know in the comments below. John, who's the a-hole? Who are the angels? What do you think? What would you do?
OP, pretty much the angel. Seems like OP is kind of giving back where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Grandparents a-holes. Because cutting out the family because of homophobia and like other things,
that's
like
whack.
I ain't rocking with that. The parents, a-holes for sure, for not like
weird.
I totally get like you kind of have to if you do have a truly disabled family member, you do have to spend probably more time and attention there. But also, any parent that loves all their children is gonna give some sort of love and attention elsewhere, and it doesn't seem like they did. And then, not at the risk of being crowned the raging ableist, if doctors are refusing
to say that you're disabled,
I don't know. I really don't know where that leaves you.
I feel like you might not be disabled. Well, who are we to say? The real test is what the comments say.
Yes.
My parents want my inheritance. If I don't give it to them, they will be homeless.
Let them go to streets.
Yeah. They should have invested better. Where's your 401k?
Come on.
So I'm 30, female. I've had a rocky relationship with my parents. Divorced since 1999, just before the millennium.
Wow.
My entire life. My father married my stepmother in the year 2000. I was an only child up until this point. She had 4 children from a previous marriage.
Whoa.
In the early days of their marriage, she, stepmom, was pretty toxic to me and to my dad's side of the family. Instead of letting relationships between everyone happen organically, she tried to force them. There's a lot of backstory here, and I'm trying to trim a lot of fat down that brings us to present day, so bear with me. By the way, this comes from Swiggity Wig on Best of Redditor Updates. So, when my parents divorced, my dad was allotted 42 days in the summer and every other weekend.
For custody. Important. Yep.
But he would often abandon me to be with her family.
Oh.
Big yikes. Things would be taken from me and distributed to her children, etc. He would always try to buy me off with gifts to make up for hurt feelings. I often felt like I was on the back burner.
I get it.
I don't like being burnt on the back.
Burn me in the front. Babe. To my face.
Put me right front and center. I want to be the very best. I want to be the veal that you're paying attention to, not the potatoes that you forget about,
I'm not a side. I'm
not a side dish. I'm the full flaming young. Spent that time with my grandparents instead. My grandparents decided to deed me their house when I was 9 because of this. Yeah, hey, that's a nice consolation prize. So I'd always have a home when they passed away. That's always been a sticking point to my father. He would say things like, that was such an irresponsible thing of them to do, to deed a property to a child.
You know what's irresponsible? Abandoning your child.
Yeah, maybe they wouldn't have to give the deed if you had done your duty.
Be a better dad.
Be a better dad.
Sorry.
It clearly didn't settle well because he has still made comments within the last few years to other people. My stepmother got into an altercation in 2007 where she shoved my grandfather in his front yard to the ground.
What? Why are you attacking Grandpa?
Why are you?
Grandpa? He with the walker?
Yeah.
What?
She's like, learn how to walk, Grandpa. Just kicks his walker away.
Who would give a house to a 9-year-old? Give it to me, Gramps, or I'm gonna give you the business.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you some cement shoes. Try using your walker after that, huh?
Bro, he's trying. He's just being beat
He's like
down
limping
constantly.
away. He's just like on the ground, just like trying to like zombie crawl away from this mother-in-law, and she's like setting him up for a curb stomp, dude. The man, girl's going crazy over here.
Hashtag save Grandpa. Throw it out in the comments.
Save Grandpa.
Hashtag it.
I was 15 at the time. We didn't see my grandparents for 8 months after that, and that was after his stroke. Every time my dad will pull some nonsense or defend his wife's actions, this would cause my grandmother to be petty and threaten to change their will, slowly keeping land from him for when they pass. After this incident,
I wondered why he didn't leave my stepmom. They both have a history of only thinking of themselves to the point my grandfather died with poor credit because my dad took out loans and cards in his name. OP's dad is awful.
This is insane. Bro, they cannot let grandpa live. Bro, grandpa's just like, hey, let me retire in peace. And they're like, no, we got to put you in $1 million in debt and then beat the crap out of you.
Break your hip.
Bro, save grandpa.
Save grandpa. Everyone's doing this gramps
dirtiest.
Before my dad retired, he didn't save a penny. He's been grifting in ways. He has a military retirement, but my stepmom blows through it. I've been married for 8 years and I have a child. Before I had mine, my dad and stepmother had 7 other grandchildren, and they now have 11 total. My daughter is the only blood relation to my dad. He didn't get to see her because my stepmom kept him from seeing her for the first 3 years of her life. When my dad is away from her, I feel like I get quality time with him. And I've learned to set boundaries over the years to keep me or my child from being hurt. So basically, OP's stepmom is just a terror.
Like the worst is an understatement. Yeah, she is horrible.
Yeah, but man, she must have something going for her if Daddy-O is staying with it. You know,
I mean, listen,
when you know how to work it, you know, when that back burns,
when that back burns,
when that booty hot, when that back be burning,
when your
heads be turning,
when your wife kicks your old dad in the hootie, she's got something going on in the booty.
Yeah,
that literally took me that I was stalling that whole time to try and think of it. And I'm not proud of what came out.
I mean, this stepmother, maybe it's hot a little bit, you know, like that beating old people.
Wow.
You know,
dude,
I feel like everyone wanted someone younger to go against Joe Biden and wanted, just to beat up an old man politically.
Dude, it
didn't happen, but I feel like people would have liked it.
Listen, if this is kink shaming, then I'm shaming it.
Yeah,
I'm shaming it all the way.
Yeah,
save grandpa. That's what side I'm on.
Grandpa. You're on save grandpa. You're not on the old
attack
old
grandpa.
Yeah, old
the
person
other side.
Kink attacks.
Nah, dude. Completely on the other side.
Yeah. No, I understand it coming from you.
She's
trying to save your fellow oldies.
That's right. AARP in the building.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Did you say AARP?
I sure did.
Oh my God. I spent the last decade of my adult life trying to heal my inner child, not carry that baggage into my child life. Learning to love and forgive. If not forgive, at least make peace. I've tried to rekindle a relationship with my father so that he can have a serious relationship with my daughter. Him and my stepmother have been on the rocks for 5 years and have separated twice. I wish they had separated permanently.
Mm-hmm.
He can't seem to get away. Given where I am in life, it feels like they want something. If not now, then when? I am married and own my own home. We make a good income and work hard for what we have. I've been dreading my entire life for the moment that both my grandparents would be put to rest. It's been difficult in itself to process the loss of someone who is essential in my upbringing, because it's like the grandparents basically raised OP instead of
and literally
father.
OP's home to this day, right? It seems. I mean, that is like it's like every day you have that reminder.
Yeah, dude. They're haunted. They're haunted, those hallowed grounds.
In the best way.
In the best way. Question, John. Would you want your grandparents to haunt your childhood home, but like in a fun way, you know? Like Sir Headless Nick and Harry Potter 2?
I guess if it's your own grandparents, that could be fun. My grandma had this saying where she's like, "You want to taste my soup bone?" Because her little gnarled fist, and apparently that meant
like she was going to
giving you the business, you know.
Damn.
Yeah. That was her famous catchphrase.
Grandma would not have taken OP's.
If stepmom tried to come in, she would have tasted the soup bone. I'll tell you that much.
Dude.
And listen, it don't taste good.
So difficult in itself to process the loss of someone who was essential in my upbringing, showing unconditional love and teaching me how to function like an adult when I was ready to step in the world. Well, that time is now. We laid my grandmother to rest at the end of last year. The way the deed was made, it transfers to me immediately at her death. So we're talking that home is in OP's life now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Get that house. Huh. My dad doesn't know I have seen the will. I chose not to say anything to have the upper hand. One of my step siblings in private has already asked for the deed to the house from my dad and stepmother. So it's all so fresh, and I find it incredibly distasteful to reach out to me when we are still going over the process of settling an estate, which is now a lifetime trust. Someone had to have given her my number as I changed it 2 years ago and was very selective who had the new number. So basically, like, somehow this person got OP's number where they were very intentional about making it not too ever present on the interwebs.
Low key with no contact.
Yeah, low key with no contact. Her children would often ask us for money, and it got tiring. I felt like I was being used after a while. Well, my dad stayed at my grandparents' house during the week of the funeral. He's been taking things out of the home for years, little things here, like vintage glassware, etc. And out of precaution, I've changed the locks and put cameras up, not just to keep them out, but because various caregivers had keys to the home and it's been sitting empty for the time being. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, but it will have taken place this summer. I have no intentions of giving him, my dad, the house.
Good.
His attitude has never changed with me, and he won't answer my daughter's calls. That is so sad. It's all very subtle, but enough to cause alarm. I'm afraid he will take from the sheds, break in, or try to fight me over it. Like, I guess because the dad feels like he deserves this house from the grandparents or his parents.
He's like, hey, guys, me and stepmom, we were the one who fought him. You know, we won it in a duel, fair and square.
Yeah,
that's
or
his
like,
logic.
I emerged from that badussy. I deserve the house. You know, it's like
the house ussy.
Yeah, it's the house ussy. You know, like she came out of the house, I came out of her by transitive property. I came to the house, thus it's my house.
Can't get in. You can't get inside this.
Can't get. I mean, I guess that's what Grandma's saying. She's like, you know, once you came out, I closed those legs for good, and I'm closing the door on you too. You're not crawling back up in there.
This metaphor got to dangerous territory.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I was thinking like the way of like a birth canal.
Oh yeah.
Not.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I apologize on behalf of the American people.
Oh, there we go.
Perhaps he is still grieving, or he now knows I've seen the will. So am I the a-hole refusing to give it to my dad? It's not like they left him with nothing. He gets stocks and acres, but the way the will is drafted, everything he owns goes back to the estate and to then me, not to his wife and her kids when he passes.
So basically, it's like the way the will is written. It's like, hey, let's say you get 10 acres and 100,000 in stocks. It goes to him now, but then when he dies, it's supposed to then go to OP, right? That's which is interesting. I've never heard of that before, but
it's I'm a little confused, to be honest, because I could also see it where like everything goes to like this estate and OP can't really use it until everything's clarified and like buttoned up, and then it goes to OP. I'm not really sure. Maybe we'll get more relevant comments and updates. But OP asks, am I handling this right? How should I? And essentially, I think the question here is, when I'm inheriting all of this stuff from my grandparents, is it okay that I just keep everything because of how massive a douche my stepmom is?
That's the question.
I think that's the question.
And
right?
the answer is keep it. Because
yeah, like and also like, am I the a-hole for not giving my dad the house that they left to me?
Yeah, it's like, one, no matter how, even if your stepmom was like the opposite of who she was and the nicest person on planet Earth, your grandparents put it in the will to give it to you. So it is literally honoring their wishes, and both like legally what is going, it's at least going to go to you first at a bare minimum, right? Well, like, and then you don't have to give it away. That is like legally what you're entitled to. But also, she isn't the nicest person on the earth. She's literally the worst. She's a freaking grandpa thomper. She's thomping on grandpa. So
you be thomping.
We can't have that. And I say you're actually the hero for not giving your dad and stepmom.
Yeah, why would you want to reward bad behavior,
dude? Think if they get away with that, they're gonna be like, oh, let's run around the city and find other freaking granddads to squabble up with, because
dude.
if us squabbling up with this grandpa earned us a house, who knows what we got to give the 1-2 diddly do to every grandpa in the tri-state area.
Yeah, dude.
We will be billionaires.
I feel like they got a powerful racket on their hands. So they might lose one grandpa house, but there's a blue ocean of grandpa houses that these two jokers can try to swindle their way into. But I don't think OP has to give them that first proof of concept.
Yeah.
I think that the point that we both like that we know for sure, is that OP's dad is not getting this house, at least in the way that he thought.
Yes,
He's not getting control.
Yeah. The house seemed like point blank going to OP, and that's why he's asking for it so aggressively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, in conclusion, is OP the a-hole for not giving this house to this absolute D-bag? No.
No, not even close.
Not even close. So, relevant comments. XREBXBX says, you are definitely doing the right thing. Stick to your guns and don't feel bad about getting authorities involved if you have to. His actions are his own, and he can face any consequences that arise from them. This is your inheritance, and there's a reason it's not his, because he was a D-bag.
Boom.
Sally Mander1 says, do not give any of these horrid people gosh darn thing.
Darn dude.
They are awful. Your grandparents intended for you to have everything for a good reason. Respect their wishes. You are not doing anything wrong. It is not your responsibility to protect people from the well-deserved consequences of their actions. Because how are they going to learn if they don't have any consequences?
Give them their stupid prizes.
I doubt any of them would lift a finger to help you, but they are already all over you for you to do things for them. They are greedy, selfish little hobbitses. And this is the result of their behavior. And OP has a post for legal advice and an update.
Ooh.
So I'm just going to jump straight into it.
Dive in.
I, 30 female, have historically had a rough relationship with my father, 63 male. I think we're going to get a little backstory that we got a little bit before, but it's going to get into some juice before. I don't know if you could call us estranged, but we have a fairly toxic relationship, and I always end up going no contact when he throws his fits. In recent years, he's gotten upset with me and threatened that I would be legally obligated to care for him when he becomes desolate. Desolate as in no money. No funds.
Desolate as a cressolate.
Nothing. Yes, as a cressolate.
Mm-hmm.
He is a veteran, so I had hoped that the VA would be of some sort of assistance. But this man has lied and stolen from me in my adult years. As a teen, he simply put me last in favor of my stepmother and her children. I went through physical, emotional, and financial abuse. They continue to do so, but have had less control of my life since I went to college 12 years ago. So basically, like, they were stealing, they were taking control of OP's life until college set OP free.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for the last decade, he has lived in RVs.
Oh.
He has nothing to show for savings out of 28 years served. Nothing.
Wow. And that's with veterans benefits and stuff. That's almost like hard to do.
Maybe. I have no idea, but sounds right.
You can be pretty good. Can be pretty good.
Really? What? Like
I know someone very close to me who has like disabilities. He's our age.
Yeah.
And he gets or is about to get $4,000 a month from that.
What?
So yeah, dude.
$4,000 a month from the military?
Yeah.
For life?
I'm not sure. I think that one might be coupled with like also going to school or something. I'm honestly not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure about that figure. Yeah.
That's freaking crazy.
It's pretty good, right?
Can he work on the side or something?
I believe he can still work. Yeah. He's like in school. He's like studying. He's getting his degree in criminology right now. And he wants to work for like NCIS.
Yo, that's crazy. Shout out to the VA.
Yeah.
Lulu says, I know someone who's a veteran that is disabled. He gets $7,000 a month.
There you go.
When you going out for combat,
dude? Soon, apparently.
Soon, dude. We're shipping off,
right?
John and I are gonna podcast from like World War III.
Dude, that
front lines.
That's frontline work right there.
Yeah. Imagine us in a like a foxhole.
Podcast in the trenches, bro.
Yeah, in the trenches. We're talking about the relationship dynamics like within the platoon.
We're not. Listen, Sam. We are not the podcasters the world deserves. We're the podcasters the world needs.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like we would increase troop morale.
I mean,
it's like, like in the 20s and actually probably more the 40s, where they would send like those girls in like the America skirts to go see the troops to boost morale.
That's us.
Just send us
in cow onesies.
Cow onesies,
improving their relationships one pod at a time.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, America.
I imagine my stepmother spent it all. Fast forward to January, I inherited my late grandmother's home. It's been deeded to me since 2001. He tried to move into it the day after the funeral.
Wow.
I then changed the locks. He's now upset once again. This is an entire story in itself, but his character is why he got shafted out of the property in his parents' will.
Ooh.
I fully intend on moving out of the forsaken state of Florida to move into my inherited Kentucky home to be mortgage free. I am a stay-at-home parent. My husband is the breadwinner. So my question is, when he or my stepmother falls into ill health, will I be legally obligated to care for him as I don't have income of my own, or will they go after my husband's paychecks? I want free of this man and the trauma and abuse he's historically put me through. I'm distraught thinking that one day I'll be saddled with caring or paying for their care when my daughter and I have always been second best. My step-siblings all live on welfare, so it's unlikely they will have financial means in the future. I mean, we got some relevant comments from some people who actually know stuff, but I can't imagine he would be, or OP would be obligated to pay for him.
Unless they live in some country, but I
They live
also
in America, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it. Maybe OP's just not familiar with
the law.
With the law, but yeah, I don't think you're legally obligated to. And then morally, like I think a lot of people are like, oh, but it's family and it's your parents, and I'm like, in my opinion, it is such a two-way street. If someone just treats you like crap and abuses you in the way that OP said throughout your life, I do not believe that you necessarily have an obligation, but maybe it's an opportunity to be like, hey, if you want any shot of me like helping you in your old age, get right.
Yeah.
If anything.
Agreed. I think that's the best way we could do it.
Yeah.
Well, we got some relevant comments. So, lying dog face pony 66 says, this is a law redditor. So we're about to get some tea from lying dog face pony, the office of law
legal tea.
The legal tea. Based on what you described, neither you nor your husband will be obligated further in any way. His threat is idle. Let's freaking go. That feels some lawyer speak right there.
W.
Yeah, dude. I believe it. OP posting more detailed / revised context / small update on the matter. So OP says, I, 30 female, and my father, 64 male, have historically had a rocky relationship. My parents divorced when I was 5, and he married the woman he cheated on my mother with. I was an only child, and she had 4 kids from a previous marriage. During my childhood years, I spent most of the allocated time dedicated to my father in the divorce with my paternal grandparents, the same grandparents that gave OP the home, every 2 weeks and 42 days in the summer. They lived in a different state. I cherished the time I had with them, and they would always go to bat for me. There was some tension caused early in my dad's new marriage due to my stepmom demanding that my grandparents go back to the store one Christmas and get equal amounts of gifts for all her children, even taking some from me and gifting to her youngest. I spent many times waiting on my mom's sofa, waiting for my dad to pick me up, and he never did. It's like those scenes in Arrested Development where they're sitting with the fishing line, waiting for their dad to come up.
Sad, bro.
Oh yeah, dude,
real sad.
Like, literally, like, when's my dad gonna pick me up for the fishing trip and like IRL?
I want to fish.
I just want to fish. I just want a dad that will get my milk and not run away.
Maybe if we go to the lake, we can fish up a new dad. You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah.
Better chances of him being a better father.
Honestly, a freaking trout would be better than this.
A rainbow trout would be a 10x better father. Than this man.
Yeah, at least if you put it in like a little bowl, it wouldn't leave you. You know?
And then at the end of its life, he's delicious. I'm just saying. A little seasoning of a.
Yeah, dude. Your dad dies, and like all you might be saddled with is that rainbow trout dies.
Dude,
you got a delicious meal.
You don't want to eat your
salt,
human dad.
lime.
That's disgusting. But your rainbow trout dad, definitely. That's what he would have wanted.
That is a Bass Pro tip right there.
Circle of life.
I would later find out he was on family vacations with his new family. I could spend all day telling Cinderella stories, but I need to keep focus on this story. My grandparents picked up his slack. We spent summers learning how to make baskets, gardening, camping, and various activities. Their home was a second home to me. When I was 13, I went to go live with my dad after some methodical brainwashing, and then I would rarely see my grandparents.
Oh, no.
My grandmother would call and they would ignore it. It would hurt my heart to see it on caller ID, knowing they were just on the other line. But my dad and stepmother would not allow it unless I sat at a table with them while on a call.
So like, I feel like the stepmother and father are just policing OP's relationship with their
Totally
grandparents.
controlling to manipulate her environment.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, which is like, it's like, if you're gonna be policing who can have contact with you, like try to show up even a little bit. Fast forward to summer of my freshman year, we went to visit my dad's side of the family. On the last night, my aunt and uncle who lived next door asked if I could stay the night with my cousins. My stepmother wanted her youngest daughter to be included. They declined because my stepsister was a thief.
Jeez.
A fight ensued in front of the yard that night, resulting in physical altercations. My stepmother shoved my 70-year-old pap to the ground.
Yep.
He had a hip replacement in the 90s and already had a stiff walk.
Oh.
So we're getting more context on the whole
Yeah.
stomping on grandpas.
Oh, God.
I was utterly terrified and distraught. As the chaos ensued, I packed my belongings because they said we were leaving. I vowed then that this would be the last straw and I would never forgive them. We missed their 50th wedding anniversary because my stepmom was still upset over what his family did to her that night. The next spring, my pap had a stroke and it was never the same. So a year later after the fatal pushing.
Mm-hmm.
The man that helped raise me during his son's shortcomings did not remember my name because of the stroke. He died in 2014. Dang, that sucks.
The good one. I mean, hopefully he lived a good. It sounded like he lived a long life. So
Yeah, the grandpa.
that's good.
Grandpa, yeah.
And he helped people.
He
you
helped
know?
people.
He did good.
Well, later when I left home, I was 18 and I went to college, and that's where I met my husband.
Yes. Good stuff.
Yeah, we need some love in here.
Yeah.
He's been my rock hard card and helped when my dad throws fits in the last few years when he doesn't get his way. He has showed me nothing but unconditional love and support and is the father to our child, the father that mine could never muster to be. I go no contact with dad every couple of years because of behavior. I feel like, at a certain point, when do you stop letting him in? It's when you're fishing.
Yeah, when you cast your line.
Yeah, and it's like you only can catch a fish like it has to be like a certain size, or you have to throw it back. It's like you keep casting and you keep getting this same fish that's like biting your line, and it's like, yo, this is way too small, and you keep throwing it back. At a certain time, it's like you got to choose a different spot, right?
Or or pick up, I don't know, knitting or something. Get a new hobby.
Do something else, because like obviously fishing for this terrible father that has no scruples and is just like, a small fish, big pond. You gotta go somewhere else.
Some could say OP, possibly like us, needs to move on from the fishing.
Yeah,
from the fish.
Possibly. Big,
into new, brighter pastures.
Big if.
Big if.
From the lake to the pastures.
Yeah.
I go no contact with my dad every couple of years because of his behavior. There is an old saying that time heals all wounds, but I don't believe that to always be true. I maintained a relationship with my mommy, paternal grandmother, until her death in December. She was a cheeky one who left notes for us to find after her death. That is awesome.
Fire.
This woman never forgot a thing when she felt slighted. That also reflected in her will. I inherit the house that has been deeded to me since 2001. My dad knew they would give it to me, but I honestly think he thought he had a chance of fighting me for it. Since 2012, he and my stepmother have been living in an RV that is now starting to fall apart. He is a retired military guy and has no savings. Right after the funeral, he stashed his belongings in closets. I discovered this after I changed the locks and added cameras as I live out of state and wanted security for the home before I sell my house and move into my childhood home. I put his stuff and what was owed to him in storage and gave my uncle the keys. After learning this, he's been furious. My step-siblings keep reaching out, telling me I'm heartless for keeping him out of his parents' home. He called crying, and I coldly told him if they wanted him to have it, they would have left it to him.
Boom.
Which is kind of like...
That's it.
Yeah. That's it.
If they wanted to have it, they would have given it to him.
Yeah.
Very simple.
I can't argue with that.
Can't argue with
that. I also told him he should have treated his parents better when they were alive. I have the deed in my hands, and there's nothing left for him to do about it. The estate is almost settled, and what land he does get will also have my name on the deed. I would rather share my childhood home with my daughter and all the whimsical things it had to offer, even if my dad ends up
homeless.
Boom.
There's some relevant comments, but that's big. That's big fighting words. Those are some big words. I mean, yeah. I guess, do you agree, or are you in homeless dad camp?
Well, to do the classic. To what a camp to be in, I've listen, I love camping and all, but like that's probably not the camp that I would, want to belong to. It's not not a Boy Scouts,
No.
Good old getting out there.
Yeah,
type
no. This is
very sad.
This is a meth pipe kind of camp.
Oh yeah.
Rather than a marshmallow.
I know.
Kind of
I know
camp.
a lot of those in Florida.
But you got open fires in both, and like I think that's what it's about.
It's just about getting out there. So to do the classic thing that you always do to me, would I do this?
I love that you've internalized my voice.
Yeah. It was like boop. It went right back to me.
There we go.
I would probably come up with some sort like if it was. This is really hard, man, because I think you definitely sit him down and be like, listen, you never took care of me as a child, so really I shouldn't be obligated to take care of you.
Yeah, like you're just some guy. You're not like like you weren't a father. We might be biologically related, but like you're just the guy.
I think whatever you do, definitely like cut him out and like cut off all communication.
Yeah,
like go no contact for good. But maybe if you have some, I don't know. It's like you don't want to see him like on the streets, but you also don't want to be burdened with it. I don't know. I'm kind of lost. What do you think?
I think like there's like a middle line to walk here.
Yes,
and I really think optimizing for what is going to be the least amount of burden for you, right?
Indeed.
And I actually think letting him be homeless might be a burden for you, and also letting him walk all over you and take your house is going to be a burden for you. But there's this line somewhere in between where you could, like, I don't know, you said you're going to have land, right, that is inherited on behalf of him, or like you're going to be on the deed for that land.
Yeah.
Just have him move his RV.
Give him the land that he's on.
Yeah. That land that he kind of inherited. I'm a little wishy-washy on like all the inheritance rules and regulations, but like have him pull his freaking piece of junk RV on there. There's not going to be fees because you own the land, and at least he has that. So like he's not homeless, but like you're also, so you don't have to worry about taking care of him super in depth. But he's not a drag on the life that you want with your children and the familial home. So I feel like it's something in between.
I agree. If you have the money for it, maybe you do something like you get like a real cheap mobile home or something if the RV is truly like completely broken down. And you don't say that you're going to do it, but you almost like, again, you say like, I'm almost thinking you're like, hey, listen, I can't take care of you because you took care of me, and like set that expectation, and then you over deliver.
Under promise, over deliver.
Again,
the classic John motto.
Yeah. Or alternative, do you say, hey, look, here's the deal. I will give you like this mobile home. We'll set it up on your property, whatever. If you like sign to go no contact with me, like you leave me the F alone. What do we think about that? Chat. I'm very curious. Wondering if this is.
I mean, like there's.
You're helping him not be homeless, which is huge. Like you said, it's like you're kind of, you free and clear have the land and a house structure on top of it, and then you don't have to deal with him anymore.
I'm like not a fan of permanent walls. I was talking to my dad about this yesterday, and he was talking about like how to maintain good relationships with like family and siblings and just friends over decades rather than years. And what he was saying is like, naturally people grow apart, people have conflict, but as long as you never put up permanent walls, usually you can like navigate through all of that conflict. And obviously like this dad has been egregiously terrible, but I think on principle, putting up a permanent wall like that may feel bad long term, but I think a lot of people in chat might disagree. Like Ellie's saying, like you owe him nothing. He got land. He can do what he needs with it. Yeah, I think for me on principle, I would probably not do that, just because like the idea of permanent walls, I think creates just bad blood. I think it's just
some bad juju vibes.
Yeah, bad juju vibes that are gonna like come back to haunt you. Something I've been reflecting on is like I had this person that I was like friends with that wanted to get closer to me, and I said like, hey, like I have like a lot of friendships. I'm like I don't have much time, but I would love to stay friends with you. And I feel like that was like a hard and fast wall that like didn't allow a lot of opportunity for change, growth, and I think she ended up hating me for that. So
Mhm.
like in retrospect, I feel like putting up that was like a hard, obviously not as intense as
Right.
what you're suggesting, but it was a hard and fast wall that I feel like was not beneficial. And so yeah, temporary walls. But
Yeah.
what do you think?
I mean, it's an interesting perspective. I think it basically goes in line with like the always take the high road, which I think is a extremely good philosophy
And extremely hard
to live by, and very hard. But I do think in OP's specific case, while it's like, okay, maybe you don't literally make him, sign a document that's like, I will never contact you, da-da-da-da-da. I do still think that like OP going no contact, like low contact essentially, where it's like, how have we phrased it before? It's like you don't contact them except for major things, or like it's not like, again, it's not like the wall is
It's not the
completely up.
wall is up, but like you're doing intentional things to put up boundaries so your space is safe.
Yeah, and
I think that feels like the best thing.
And I do truly think that like OP deserves and should not be in regular communication, because she's dealt with it all her life. She has her own family. She has all these things. I do feel like it will be a productive thing for her. And who knows, maybe after like years and years of the no contact, maybe she's like, hey, let me reach out again, or whatever the case may be. Maybe that's what she does every few years. But yeah, I feel like, hey, you know what? If you want to keep make it as high road as possible, don't need to sign anything, but just like give yourself space.
Yeah, high road as possible
For
by,
sure.
while still ensuring you prioritize your own health and happiness.
Yeah. At least the high road is not stomping stepmom like she stomped grandpa. I think that's so true.
I love that.
That's a legendary line right there. That's a OKSD all timer.
All right,
but
we got some
let's-
relevant comments.
let's get back to it.
Let's rock back in. So SN Voigt says, it sounds like your dad was waiting to get that house, guessing he's flabbergasted you didn't cave and hand it over. Just know if you deed your dad the home and he passes before your stepmom, the house will go to her and eventually her kids. Do not for any reason allow them to get access into the home, especially when it sounds like stepmom has a gaggle of unemployed kids who may or may not have significant others helping them make all those babies that they are popping out. Everyone can go get jobs and figure it out. And OP responds, honestly, like not a bad response.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like he was waiting the RV and then the clothes. Twice so far, he's made excuses to come get his stuff. He didn't expect me to drive 700 miles to meet him at the door, where he thought he circumvented me asking my uncle. He said he had things in the barns. I don't own the barns. He took every tool out of my shed, however. Oh, wow. So like kind of stealing.
Yeah.
I called the sheriff's office and they arrived as he was leaving. He said he wanted his dad's tools. I let that go.
High road?
High road. High road, OP. You know, you didn't have to take that high road. Those are your tools, but
yeah.
High road. I may have done the same.
You may have stolen your...
No, I may have let it go. I may have let it go.
I just went into some family member's shed and just took all their tools.
Yeah, dude. You know how I have a fixin' for tools. I love a good screwdriver,
right.
Allen wrench.
That's why I asked, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, could it be?
What else do I like?
Just screwing things. I'm a big
screw guy.
Big screw guy.
Yeah, no, I would say, but I'm not a fiend to the point that I would break into homes to steal tools.
No, especially from your own family.
No, that's crossing a line.
Yeah.
I'm not a tool.
High road.
High road. That's called the high road, baby. So the latest thing is some junk John Deere crap he stuck into the back bathroom. I found it. It's like he planted so much stuff there, but he absconded with a lot of the house during the funeral. And you're right. That was something my husband mentioned to me. Squatters' laws and the potential for her kids to shack up there. To be honest, he doesn't have the money to keep up with the house. It's older, 1959, with an addition from the 1970s. I mean, yeah, he might not have the money, but like he'll just let it go disarray if he actually got it, which is what he did to his RV. I mean, you can still live in a crap hole and let it get crappier as it slowly erodes into the grass and
that's true,
and the ground
biodegrade.
Nature reclaims all, as they say. If anyone's watched The Walking Dead, you know nature comes back quick.
It's true.
Nature comes back. Plumbing is Hodge Lodge. I think he meant Podge. I never heard Hodge Lodge. Electrical is 3/4 of the house. Isn't grounded. Sounds like you need to go to like a meditation class for that. A pipe ruptured this summer. It needs new lateral lines. Recluse infestation throughout the house. No central heat and air. It needs a lot of work, requiring the sell of my home to renovate it. It easily needs $40K of work not to fall apart in the next few years. Solid bones, but dated. It sits on the most beautiful hill, looking over 200 acres.
Whoa!
Is it on 200 acres of land?
Sounds
of
like
what
it.
was once farmland, trees, and limestone. I would never trade it for anything. No way.
I mean, that's
land.
That's fire. I mean,
that's land.
I feel like you feel like you just own the earth at that point. Like all of the land you own, you could just see as far as your eye goes.
Dude, that's some Mufasa.
That's
some Mufasa everywhere
everything the light touches.
Mufasa. Wait, no, it's like
I can't even do it.
Mufasa. Everywhere the light touches is yours. Something like that. Yeah, dude, that sounds lit.
I understand why OP wants it and why the dad wants it.
Yeah,
he's a maniac.
I mean,
house.
We might be interpreting this wrong, but 200 acres, I mean, even in the middle of freaking nowhere would be worth millions, right? Gypsy Sniper 9, and that's gypsy as in the name, not as in the Roma slur. Let his stepkids take care of them. What a pair of a-holes they are. And OP responds, he's brought up filial law on multiple occasions. 3 out of 4 step-siblings are all on welfare, and between all 4 siblings have 12 children. Sheesh. They have too many kids to take care of already. They spent a lot of money supporting my stepsisters over the last 2 decades, which has likely contributed to their financial state. By the way, if you want to contribute to our financial state by being able to keep making this podcast, you should join our lives every weekday, 3 p.m. PST, right here on YouTube and Facebook. Just tap our profile.
Come on down.
We'd love to see it. There's another relevant update, but OP obviously doesn't owe the father anything, but if it's freaking 200 acres of land, like that's some serious
Also,
shit.
if it is 200 acres, when I heard that, I'm almost like, is part of his acreage like on that plot of 200? Otherwise, they have more. Peyton says 1 acre costs between $1,900 and like $5,400.
Is that true? I mean, maybe in like the wilderness, yeah.
I guess like, and if you get like such a huge plot of land, it's like, okay, because you're buying so much, like whatever. But still 200 times, like even 200
so
times
you're saying for $400,000 we could get 200 acres.
So that would be, if it's the most expensive there, it's like a little over $1 million.
Like 10 years, we get 200 acres.
We just build like 100 content studios.
Yeah. And then all of you guys can come visit. We have like a little theme park, a little Disneyland.
Becomes a little community.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, community. John's having. Yeah. It's not a cult, I swear.
I'm making air quotes and raising my eyebrows for all of our audio listeners.
Yeah. If we started a cult in Kentucky, would you come?
Oh, God.
I mean, would you arrive there?
There we go. He fixed it. No trout here.
Peyton says 200 could be like $1 million. Average cost $4,700. Jellybus says my cousin has 2 houses, 138 acres, and it's worth about $1 million, but it's outside Georgetown, Kentucky.
That's wild.
How much land did he get? I think he could be okay. Yeah, that's a lot. That's
200.
a lot. Host streams in person. I feel like these would just be like sermons.
Yeah, there's just, instead of like
my people.
Thou must give good advice. Yeah. Goofily. I think we could do it.
On today's sermon, we're going to talk about the story of OP and his 200 acres of land.
The snakes of stepmoms. Hear ye, hear ye.
We got an update. So I promised an update. It's taken me a long time to really sit down and gather my thoughts to update, or rather just really take in the reality of my situation. It's taken 31 years to really see beyond the rose-tinted glasses of the relationship I thought I had with my father. I did cancel his flight. He did not help us move, but I did end up engaging with him to keep the peace. Quick recap. I inherited my grandparents' home. Father and stepmom wanted to move in. I said no. Dad then decides to leave the evil stepmom and reconcile. He wanted to temporarily move in with us. We said no. He was insisting on helping us move. We still said no. We are essentially estranged, and he's never really been a parent to me. Would rather love and bond with my 3 stepsisters and all their children than his only child and grandchild. I previously entertained reconciliation only to be strongly dissuaded by my extended family and Reddit.
Woo.
A week before making the move, he did come to Kentucky and leave my stepmom as he had said. So he said he's leaving. But how he did it was cowardly. She was doing laundry on their last day in Texas at the RV, and he got in her vehicle and split back to Georgia, leaving her without transportation. So he basically stole the car.
Insane.
Her children are angry. Once he got to their RV in Georgia, he parked the car, packed his truck up and trailer, and headed to Kentucky. He spent a week here on his property next to my inherited home. I inherited his parents' house, for those who do not recall. He was essentially camping in a small trailer, and he would haul stuff in for flea markets and gun shows. That kind of sounds cool, honestly. I'm definitely like romanticizing the West and all that, the Wild West, but something about camping on the land and selling stuff at gun shows feels kind of sick.
I feel like it would be sick if he didn't.
If he wasn't a complete deadbeat. Yeah.
And also it seems like he just lives until he rots.
Yeah.
Kind of. So.
But
done right.
Done right. Yeah. If we didn't have all this context, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool. He asked if he could use my water hose so he could shower, and I agreed.
Hose him off. Hey, honey, we got to hose off Dad real quick. All right, turn the spigot, son. Let's get her done.
All right, turn around, Pops. You've been rolling in too much mud.
Lift your cheeks, Paul.
We got to make sure every nook and cranny is clean. Spread them.
Dude.
I want to see where the sun don't shine.
Oh, my God.
Forget about the Oort cloud. I need to see that black hole. Woo-hoo-hoo. Imagine hating your dad so much that you don't even let them use your hose.
It's great. It's crazy. But she did. She did.
Yeah, she did. I have cameras outside, so I thought, what could it hurt? Well, here's when I went wrong.
Oh.
I then get a call from him that water is pouring from under the house. I told him to shut the water off. The house has been having leaks since I took possession of it. It's got 60-year-old plumbing that will be replaced with the sale of my home. Well, I had my uncle come to confirm and then scheduled a plumber to come look at it at what needed to be done. This was 5 days before we would get there with a moving truck from Florida to Kentucky. Well, a pipe had split under the sink and the water heater had busted during the winter. During this time, a storm came through and the power went out.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
This is back to back.
This house is just going to be flooded.
Yeah, I can't
This is going to be a water world, dude.
Oh my gosh.
It's like that one science experiment they did where they flooded that apartment so that lady could jerk off that dolphin in the 70s. You know that? Or they're trying to teach a dolphin how to speak human.
I've never heard of that in my life.
That is a legitimate true story. But yeah, I'm just imagining just a thin layer of water throughout this whole house. They're wrecked.
Let's save it for our new series.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, yeah. He found a key I had in a flower pot for the plumber and went into my home. When we got there, he told us he sprayed the yard for ticks, did pest control, and also cleaned and sprayed for pests inside the home. I was livid. I didn't react angrily because at the time it felt weird. I was questioning whether I was wrong, and he was actually wanting to be a dad to me after all this time, so I let it go. That illusion has since passed. So I guess it seemed like he was helping. Because what he's saying is
down the inside or spraying it with
when all that thing was happening, when the house was flooded and all that, he found a key I had in a flower pot for the plumber, went into my home. So there was a flood.
Key.
And so,
Yep.
so he went over. I guess she's mad about spraying for pests inside the home, but I feel like he was trying, you know?
It could be.
I feel like she's maybe he's trying, it's misguided. Don't spray for ticks, poisonous fumes inside the house, but seems like he's trying.
Yeah.
But anyway, so OP's getting their hopes up.
Mm-hmm.
I was questioning whether I was wrong, and he was actually wanting to be a dad to me after all this time, so I let it go. But that illusion has since passed. We've been here since mid-June, and now I've discovered he's robbed us blind.
Oh.
He's denied it all, of course. Tape has been removed from an old chimney hole, assuming looking for money. Green dishware has been stolen and put on consignment in town and at another local place 40 minutes away. Anytime we have a subcontractor out to give bids on the remodel, he just shows up and tries to hijack the situation. He talked to me like I'm stupid in front of my husband. That surprisingly did not go well. My husband is as docile as it comes, but that was the straw that broke his silence in all of this.
Nice.
My dad didn't take kindly to my husband, telling him he needed to mind his own business and be respectful to his wife.
Who happens to be his daughter.
Yeah.
Dude.
Crazy that your husband needs to stand up to your dad.
Come on.
He's now staying with one of his cousins in an RV. He's still moving forward with his plans to put a tiny home on the land that is nestled between me and my uncle. That's kind of cute. My extended family tends to avoid him like the plague. With his repeated efforts to enter the fold, he showed up to their home on the 4th of July with a lawn chair to see fireworks uninvited, and they didn't ask him to leave. Sometime in July, we noticed my dad had messed with one of the propane heaters. It no longer had a pilot light on, and the dial had been moved to 1, which is on the opposite side of the dial as the pilot setting. Either that was incompetence or he was playing with the fate of our lives. I'm hoping incompetence. His granddaughter's life, he of course denied it. I am under the impression we are all in fear of his retaliation. My husband has no such fears and keeps threatening to go into the consignment that has stolen my glassware and make a scene. Honestly, I'm at the point I'm just no longer going to let my husband deal with him. I'm no longer emotionally exhausted, just annoyed. He shows up randomly with food, which I immediately throw away. The last one had a note on it for my daughter. I wish I had a happier update, but this is what it is. We close on the sale of our home next week and start remodeling soon. I've let my contractors know the situation, and he's not to be on the property. I feel bad having them in this situation. I worry he will vandalize the house my grandparents left me while we are in our rental. If I end up as a news story, no, it's not a mystery, and no, who is responsible? But we got some relevant comments. So OP reveals more worrisome details about her father in the comments when asked if she's in a 2A or criminals are people state. What is that? 2A or criminals or people state. Chat, can you tell me what that is? I don't know what that is. Both county and state are 2A, or I would have reported his storage unit of unregistered guns he sells without performing background checks. He exited the military, became a consultant somehow, lost his security clearance, and started selling guns. At one point, he was selling Korean AKs to militia groups in Georgia.
2A is Second Amendment.
Oh.
So, you know,
Yeah.
Your right to bear arms.
Gun ho.
And I'm not talking about the furry ones.
I wish this was all a joke. My dad is the Frank Gallagher Lord of War, I guess. Kitty Griss says, I'm with your husband on this. Your silence is emboldening your father in pushing boundaries. There's only one way to deal with people like that. Make sure they're aware you're not afraid of creating an even more public scene than they are. You and your husband should absolutely file a police report and a no trespassing order on the theft and damages he had done. Get your stuff back from the consignment shop. If anything, it makes your father aware that you're not afraid to send him to jail if need be, and no one would bail him out. Nope, he responds, the problem with making a report is that I don't have photo evidence that it belongs to me other than I have the other half of the green glassware set he stole. Last time I called the police for trespassing, the state police cited with dad's story that I was a disgruntled child and he was just trying to be a dad. Unsure if it was just a small town sympathies or the patriarchy at work. This is also the Bible Belt. So Kitty Girls responds, if you have the title/deed of the house/property, it is well within your right to have whoever you want trespass. So we could kick dad off the property. I wouldn't just leave it at that. I would just tell the cops that he is estranged from me and haven't had contact with him for years. He just left his current family because he thinks he can get me to fund his lifestyle. He's a stranger and I want him off the property. If your uncle is next door and the same mindset as you, he can back you up by asking for your father to be removed from his property as well, or at least let the sheriff know that your father is not welcomed. And Cherry Block Red Wine says he is a stranger, a thief, and has committed identity fraud. OP, use all your ammunition. He stole his parents' identities and ruined their credit. There is a pattern to all this. Also, you wrote in another post that even if the land he would inherit was deeded to you, if that's the case, why not just evict him? And Maleficent Theory 818 says, get a police report and go to the consignment store and get your dishes back. I can bet they have a higher value than you realize beyond sentimental value, and document everything that he has done. You need to see about getting your property posted so it can't come into your lawn and cause further damage. And Desert Dame says, yes, definitely get the police report and get your dishes back. I'm in the vintage biz, and let me tell you, if something brings in stolen merch, they are not only banned from the store, but all others they are friends with. The small world in the biz, people know people. They'll prevent him from doing business in your town. He will have to leave the surrounding area to sell anything, and re-estate sales. The better ones will ban him from the premises since he's known to be a thief. Please let it start with you to stop him. Unfortunately, in biz, there are these vindicative acts. Surprisingly enough, it tends to be men of a certain age. They'll break stuff, hide stuff, and steal it. The teens will steal cheap costume jewelry. It's the older guys who will really rip you off. The thing with a propane tank, that's definite criminal intent to destroy your house. That's how arson fires are done too. The water to undermine your foundation. And it's hello, 50 gay to get a new one. You and your uncle must combine forces to get rid of this increasingly deranged man. Honestly, when it's put like that, it does feel like more of a threat than I think I initially was thinking.
We're uneducated on the ways of pilot lights and
yeah, this is.
these manner of things.
Frame like that, like this guy seems dangerous.
Yeah,
and maybe he should be treated as
like
dangerous.
a criminal.
Treated like a freaking criminal.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it seems like from everything. And also, let's think about let's just look at his history too. Could we see someone with all of the stuff he's done in the past getting up to hijinks like this? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It
definitely doesn't lead us to think of him in a good light.
No,
he wouldn't
this
do
does
that.
not give confidence at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you've been trying to put out social boundaries, but I think it's time to start putting on legal and some police boundaries.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's getting to that point. But
the home bare minimum.
Yeah. I would love to know what you guys think. Put your answers in the comments below.
My mother-in-law disinherited my husband because he had an affair, baby. My name is Amelie, 26, and I have a 5-year-old son. My ex-husband, 29, cheated on me with his co-worker, Bethany, 28. I was 2 months pregnant with our second child when I found out Bethany was going to have his child. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Inherit 8 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So I miscarried. My ex left the house to be with her. It's been 2 years since the baby was born. My mother-in-law has been supportive of me and has nothing to do with my ex or his mistress and their child up until a few months ago. I adore my in-laws and we're extremely close. My mother-in-law and parents are the best of friends. She loves me and her grandson more than anything. This infuriates my ex-husband's affair partner. My in-laws cut contact with him straight away. Bethany was jealous that her child would never know the love of grandparents. At least her son has a father. This brings us to the problem. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law has been very ill for a while, and so she's updated her will. My ex-husband was an only child, so he would get everything. But now my son will inherit her house, villa, and money. I will receive a large portion of her money and all of her belongings. Until my son turns 18, it will be in my trust. If I pass before that, my parents will take care of it. They do not know this. The thing is, once they caught wind of her being ill, my ex-husband begged for forgiveness. The mistress started being nice towards her. She started fights and called her horrible names before and forced her to be around his baby. My mother-in-law is bedbound, but she says she wants to leave with a bang, so she'll endure this. I haven't encouraged her to do anything, and this is her choice alone. They want her money. And her son thinks he is still included in the will. He also thinks his child will now be acknowledged by his grandmother and will also receive money. Now, my mother-in-law hasn't actually said she's forgiven them. She despises her son and his mistress for tearing apart our family. She wants to reward those who deserve it and get revenge in one go. I still think it's like a little bit unfair to cast off the baby. I think it's totally fair to not give the son, mother-in-law's son, money because he sucks. But I feel like the baby should get money. The mistress keeps on hinting on how her child will grow up and attend a great college, etc. Money involved things whenever she's around my mother-in-law. Actually, mother-in-law's niece, my cousin by marriage, has overheard her on the phone discussing what wallpaper she wants in the dining room when she moves in and how my mother-in-law has no taste whatsoever. So she's insulting her while she's trying to take her money. She also mentioned how she finally will be able to take down pictures of my son when my ex owns the house. Too bad for her. It will belong to my son. No changes will be made until my son becomes 18. It's his grandmother's home and he should be allowed to cherish it in the way she's decorated it. I'm not really allowed to tell anyone, and though this revenge will be satisfying, I'll have to lose my mother-in-law. It's kind of a win-lose situation, and I dread the day when she'll take her last breath. She means a lot to me. I love her. She wants this for her grandson and has said that she cannot rest until she knows her son and his mistress have been punished. She wants this because her childhood was also ruined because of her father and his affair partner. She wants my son to know he was loved and will always be loved. I hope my son will always value the great woman in his life. I wish I had more time with his grandmother. That's sad. I might make an update if anyone wants it, though I pray to God it's a long time before that. And there is an edit. The baby mama or the mistress is being very she's just very assuming a lot here.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I'm going to take this house, which, it's not really OP's, just, OP's not the a-hole because she doesn't have a deciding, vote about the baby money.
Yeah, I mean, I think the baby should get the baby money.
Yeah, I think the baby should get some baby money.
But do you think the baby should get the baby money immediately in a trust, at 18 or in a trust at 25?
I think a trust at 18.
I feel like in a trust at 25.
Well, but I think at a trust at 18, but you can do a thing where it's like you only get a certain amount at it, like you don't.
That's all of it. Yeah, I like that.
Not all of it at once. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I thought this post would attract just a handful of people, but wow. Thank you all for listening to me and giving me advice. As for those who are angry at me for not asking my mother-in-law to include my ex's new child, I can't do anything about that. Yes, I'm happy and that's selfish, but I'm going to put myself and my son first. That child contributed to my miscarriage and is one of the reasons why my son is not at a father for over 2 years. Totally get where OP is coming from, but again, it's just a baby. I can't change my mother-in-law's mind about him. I do pity the baby, but it's not up to me to fend for it. Totally true. It's not my responsibility. I've tried talking to my mother-in-law, but she's had her whole childhood ruined because her father made his affair children his top priority. This is why she wants nothing to do with it or her son. He knows that she went through so much because of cheaters, yet he decided to do the same to her. He has seen his grandfather favor his aunt and uncle over his mother. If this happened to you, you wouldn't be so happy about sharing yet another thing with the baby. Thank you again to those who have listened to me, and I've read out the nice comments to my mother-in-law. We had a great laugh together. And by the way, you can have a great laugh with us by joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap our profile.
We're probably live right now. Just tap it.
Probably.
Come on.
And there is a little bit left to this story, but do you have any final thoughts?
I think our idea of trust given to the baby at 18, not all of the money goes to it, to the baby, but it kind of unfolds over time, I think is the best move.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen because I think the mother-in-law has been traumatized in the past by this and, probably wants to not give the baby any money out of spite. And which is not really OP's, bag of dirt.
Bag of beans.
Bag of beans to handle. Edit 2. The mistress would send me photos of her ultrasounds after I miscarried. That
is evil.
That's
oh my
evil.
God.
Like Ort Cloud.
Ort Cloud.
Put that mistress in the trebuchet and send her to the Ort Cloud. Either to me or to my family. Ugh. In the first envelope, she sent a letter full of the nastiest things about me, my son, and my miscarried baby. She even tagged me on social media on an account I didn't know about. It was an invitation to her baby shower. She had done plenty of disgusting and hurtful things to me regarding my miscarried baby. The people who are coming at me in the comments would not be as civil as me if anything like that happened to them. Ignoring her child is honestly the best option. I do not want my son to grow up with her son. And to those who are insulting and saying rude things about my dying mother-in-law, you are truly disgusting.
Come on, Reddit. Be a little nicer.
Wow.
Impossible
and
challenge.
that is the end of that story. And maybe the end of this stream.
We got some bad little tidbits at the end.
Those were so sad. What a way to... Dang.
Shout out to the mistress for being a piece of trash.
Yeah, I hope you're okay, OP.
Put into a black hole and make black hole spaghetti.
Yeah, but regardless of your mother-in-law's decisions, you don't have to worry about them.
If you love us, make sure to subscribe. We love you.